Chapter 696. Young Master Yi, miss, please have a seat. The white-clothed old man revealed a friendly smile and said slowly, "See, how did you recognize me?" Yi Chenfeng looked at the white-clothed old man who had no hostility and asked, "Young Master Yi is the benefactor of Misty Mountain. Back then, when young Master Yi was chased by Mo Fengyun and went missing, Sect Master Shui gave young Master Yi's portrait and physical characteristics to this old man and ordered this old man to use the spies of the Sky Secret Pavilion to find young Master Yi's whereabouts. Therefore, this old man is very familiar with young Master Yi's appearance." The white-clothed old man slowly explained, "I didn't expect the power behind the Sky Secret Pavilion to be Misty Mountain," Yi Chenfeng said with a faint smile. The Sky Secret Pavilion was built by an ancestor of Misty Mountain 50,000 years ago. However, not many people know about this, so when something happened to Misty Mountain, my Sky Secret Pavilion was not implicated. The white-clothed old man nodded and said, "Senior, where's Sister Piaoling and the others now? I have something very important to talk to them about." Yi Chenfeng asked, "Not long ago, our divination pavilion discovered a spiritual mountain that had never been explored before, the intersection of the northern continent and the southern continent. It is very suitable for our Misty Mountain to rebuild our sect. After a discussion between the sect master and the grand elders, we had decided to go there and rebuild our sect, waiting for an opportunity to rise again. But who would have thought that when Misty Mountain was purchasing materials and rebuilding the sect in the spiritual mountain, we were discovered by the spies of the southern continent's overlord, Myriad Beast Mountain, which led to a series of conflicts." The white-clothed old man explained in detail. "In that case, Misty Mountain's current situation is very bad." Yi Chenfeng did not expect Myriad Beast Mountain to interfere again. He frowned slightly and asked, "Yes, Sect Master and the others are in a very bad situation. With our Misty Mountain's current strength, we are indeed unable to contend against the 10,000 Beast Mountain. If the 10,000 Beast Mountain insists on occupying that spiritual mountain, our Misty Mountain can only give up." The white-clothed old man sighed softly. "Senior, please give me a map of the spiritual mountain's location and inform Sister Piaoling to delay as much as possible. Wait for me to go meet Myriad Beast Mountain." Time was of the essence. Yi Chenfeng did not waste any more time and requested, "Chenfeng, the strength of the 10,000 Beast Mountain is very strong, not much weaker than the Western Devil Sect. I suggest that we don't have a direct confrontation with them." The white-robed old man solemnly reminded, "Don't worry, Senior. The Western Devil Sect has already been destroyed by me. If that 10,000 Beast Mountain doesn't know what's good for them, I don't mind letting them follow in the footsteps of the Western Devil Sect and disappear from the southern continent." Yi Chenfeng revealed a trace of an unruly smile as he spoke in an overbearing manner. "What? The Western Devil Sect was destroyed by you?" The white-robed old man's eyes widened and his jaw dropped. He could not believe what he had just heard. "Yes. Wait until I resolve the crisis of Misty Mountain, then we'll talk about it in detail. Senior, quickly give me the map of Spirited Mountain," Yi Chenfeng urged. "All right." The way the white-robed old man looked at Yi Chenfeng changed drastically. He immediately handed the map of Spirit Mountain to Yi Chenfeng. "Lingyu, let's go." Yi Chenfeng quickly memorized the location of Spirited Mountain and left the Heaven's Secret Pavilion with Lingyu. He summoned his soul wings and flew towards Spirited Mountain at top speed. Just as Yi Chenfeng and Lingyu were rushing towards Spirited Mountain, Shui Piaoling encountered a big problem. "Piaoling, this one fell in love with you at first sight. What do you think? Are you willing to marry me as a concubine and form a marriage alliance with my 10,000 Beast Mountain? As long as you agree, not only will I give you this spirited mountain full of opportunities, I will also send experts from my 10,000 Beast Mountain to help Misty Mountain rebuild the sect." The sect master of the 10,000 Beast Mountain, Shou Laiyun, lecherously looked at Shui Piaoling's arrogant face and graceful body as he spoke with ill intentions. "What if I don't agree?" Shui Piaoling looked at Shou Laiyun with disgust. If it wasn't for the 10,000 Beast Mountain's terrifying strength and robbing too much of Misty Mountain, she would have already dug out Shou Liyun's eyeballs. Don't agree? Shou Liyun revealed a cold smile and said with a threatening tone, Piaoling, my patience is not good, and my temper is not good. If you don't agree, I might use force. Shui Piaoling did not expect Shou Liyun to be so shameless. She was so angry that her face turned pale and her body trembled. Piaoling, do you know how many people in the entire southern continent want to marry me as a concubine? It's your fortune that I have taken a liking to you. Don't be ignorant of your fortune. Furthermore, this is the only chance for Misty Mountain to rebuild. If you miss this chance, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Shou Liyun looked at Shui Piaoling's pale face and said without any trace of politeness, Shou Liyun, my Misty Mountain does not welcome you. Please leave immediately. Just when Shui Piaoling was being humiliated, the two mainstays of Misty Mountain, Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi, walked out from the mountain and said furiously, after Misty Mountain suffered such a calamity, Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi were under great pressure. However, under the pressure, they both broke through and reached rank 1 combat Beast Emperor. Damn it, this is not the place for you two old fellows to speak. If you know what's good for you, get lost immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Shou Liyun looked at Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi with disdain and scolded them mercilessly. Shou Liyun, although my Misty Mountain is not as strong as your Myriad Beast Mountain, if you force us into a corner, we will not let you off easily. Shui Sanqin warned angrily. She had never suffered such humiliation before. Ha! With just the two of you? The rank 3 combat Beast Emperor, Shou Liyun laughed wildly and suddenly blasted a punch towards Shui Sanqin. The terrifying fist radiance compressed the Tao intent and terrifying power to the extreme. It shattered the layers of air and pressed towards Shui Sanqin, whose expression changed greatly. Boundless Tao, feeling the destructive power in Shou Liyun's fist, Shui Sanqin's expression changed greatly and immediately used her powerful Tao intent to resist. Boom! When the two powerful attacks collided, Shui Sanqin's boundless Tao was immediately shattered. The terrifying fist radiance with unparalleled destructive power blasted towards her chest. Misty Heaven Bell. At the crucial moment, Shui Sanqin took out the Misty Mountain Town's sect treasure, the Misty Heaven Bell, and used it to block in front of her to resist Shou Liyun's destructive fist. Although Shui Sanqin had resolved the crisis, Shou Liyun's shocking strength made them fearful. Once Shou Liyun went berserk, they would not be able to resist with their strength. Piaoling, I will ask you one last time. Do you agree to be my concubine? Shou Liyun had completely lost his patience and asked aggressively. Shui Piaoling originally wanted to refuse, but she was afraid of angering Shou Liyun and causing greater harm to herself. She was at a loss and was at a loss. Just when Shui Piaoling fell into a deep panic and beads of sweat appeared on her forehead, the communication bead in her arms suddenly vibrated. Under Shou Liyun's ferocious gaze, she instinctively opened her communication bead. When she heard the contents of the message, a kind of shock and excitement filled her beautiful face. Her flustered heart suddenly had a backbone. Sect Master Shou, I wonder if you can give me 5 more days. I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer after 5 days. Shui Piaoling calmed down her flustered heart and said with a pleading tone, What if I don't agree? Shou Liyun looked at Shui Piaoling's expression that changed in an instant. He slightly frowned and said coldly, Sect Master Shou wouldn't want a dead person, right? Shui Piaoling's eyes revealed a trace of fearlessness and said resolutely, All right, I'll give you 3 more days. After 3 days, you must give me a satisfactory answer. Otherwise, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. Looking at Shui Piaoling's fearless eyes, Shou Liyun hesitated. However, he wholeheartedly wanted to obtain Shui Piaoling's pure body. In the end, he suppressed the fire in his heart and decided to give them 3 more days. Moreover, he also wanted to make a good deployment to wipe out Misty Mountain. In the face of absolute strength, he didn't believe that Shui Piaoling and the others could play any tricks. However, Shou Liyun didn't know that the person he feared from the bottom of his heart Yi Feng was on his way. 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 697. Sigh, let's give up on this spiritual mountain. With our misty mountain's foundation, it is indeed not enough to occupy this blessed land. Seeing Shou Laiyun leaving with the experts of the myriad beast mountain, Shui Sanqin sighed softly, revealing a trace of helplessness. Grand Elder, there might be a turning point. Thinking of the news from the communication pearl, Shui Piaoling's pale face revealed an excited smile. Turning point? What turning point? Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi looked at each other, unable to think of any turning point in this adversity. Grand Elder, Master, let's find a quiet place to talk. Shui Piaoling could not hide the joy in her heart. She smiled sweetly and brought Shui Sanqin and Shui Jiaoling to the depths of Spirit Mountain. In a secluded valley, she set up a soundproof restriction to seal off the valley. Piaoling, what is this turning point you speak of? Who sent you a message just now? Shui Sanqin looked at Shui Piaoling's smiling face and asked. It was the fifth elder in charge of the Heavenly Mystery Pavilion. He told me that Cheng Feng has returned and is on his way. Shui Piaoling couldn't hide her excitement as she said, Cheng Feng has returned. He really escaped the pursuit of Mo Fengyun. Hearing this news, Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi also revealed excited expressions. In their opinion, as long as Yi Feng was given enough time to grow with the strength and talent he displayed, he would definitely be able to hold up the sky for the Misty Mountain. Since Cheng Feng has returned safely, then all the more reason for us to withdraw from this spiritual mountain and not have a direct confrontation with the myriad beast mountain. Shui Tianqi decided. That's right. With Cheng Feng's talent, we can at most endure for another 10 years before he fully matures. At that time, let's see who dares to bully us. Shui Sanqin nodded in agreement. Grand Elder, Master, maybe we don't need to wait for 10 years. Shui Piaoling said with a smile. Don't need 10 years, you mean? Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi opened their eyes wide as a bold idea emerged in their minds. Just now, the fifth elder told me that Cheng Feng's strength has become extremely terrifying. The Western Devil sect has already been destroyed by him. Shui Piaoling said in a shocking manner. What? Hearing this news, not only was Shui Tianqi dumbfounded, even Shui Sanqin, who was always calm in the face of chaos, was dumbfounded. She couldn't believe that Yi Feng had grown to such an extent in a short 2 years. Wondering, do you think that person is an imposter just to confuse us? Annihilating the Western Devil sect in 2 years, do you believe it? The West Devil sect was the #1 power in the Western continent. It had a very deep foundation. Even if the 8 Great Saint Lands wanted to destroy it, it would be very difficult for them to do so. Therefore, Shui Tianqi was suspicious about the matter of the West Devil sect being destroyed by Yi Feng. This, Shui Tianqi's words made the snow fall. Shui Sanqin seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. The smile on her face froze. When they thought about it carefully, the matter of Yi Feng annihilating the West Devil sect was indeed somewhat inconceivable and beyond common sense. Wandering, sent a message to the fifth elder and asked for the details. Tianqi, gather all the disciples in Spirited Mountain. If anything happens, we'll break out. Shui Sanqin said seriously. All right. Shui Piaoling and Shui Sanqin nodded. In order to prevent any accidents from happening, they started to deploy their full strength. At the same time, in order to make Shui Piaoling surrender and obediently offer up her pure body, Shou Laiyun constantly mobilized the experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain to rush to the outside of the spiritual mountain. They surrounded the spiritual mountain that was like a paradise, exerting pressure on Shui Piaoling and breaking down her mental defenses. Could it be that Master was right? That person is not Cheng Feng? Looking at the gradually darkening sky and thinking that tomorrow was the 3-day deadline and Yi Feng still hadn't shown up, the hope in Shui Piaoling's heart was shattered bit by bit. She didn't dare to imagine what kind of humiliation she would have to endure if she was forcefully taken away by Shou Laiyan. However, Spirited Mountain was sealed off by the experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain. She had no way out. If she didn't comply, it was very likely that it would bring a devastating disaster to the Misty Mountain. At this moment, Shui Piaoling felt that her world had completely darkened. Qingfeng, where are you? For some reason, Shui Piaoling, who was in a desperate situation, kept thinking about Yi Qinfeng's figure. As she thought about it, 2 lines of tears flowed out from the corner of her eyes and dyed her beautiful face. Just when the entire Misty Mountain was shrouded in a haze, and Shui Piaoling and the others were in despair, a vague figure appeared outside Spirited Mountain. And this vague figure was Yi Qinfeng, who had flown from North Star City to Spirited Mountain after nearly 3 days of rushing. So many experts. It seems like Sister Piaoling and the others are in a bad situation. Yi Qinfeng's sharp senses discovered many experts outside Spirited Mountain and surrounded it. His face instantly turned gloomy. Whoosh! Yi Qinfeng's body flashed slightly and disappeared into the gradually darkening sky like a ghost. He entered Spirited Mountain without anyone noticing. Using his sole perception, he quickly discovered Shui Piaoling. Who is it? Shui Piaoling, who was staring blankly at the sunset, suddenly felt the aura of a stranger approaching. She immediately woke up from her crying and became alert. But in the next moment, Shui Piaoling seemed to have been struck by lightning. She was stunned on the spot, and her mind went blank. Although the aura was completely different when Shui Piaoling saw Yi Qinfeng, she was 100% sure that the person in front of her was Yi Qinfeng. It was just that the current Yi Qinfeng had lost some of his childishness and had more of the vicissitudes of life. It's really him. Qinfeng is really back. Looking at Yi Qinfeng's familiar face, Shui Piaoling's eyes became moist and tears fell like rain. The huge pressure and grievances she had suffered for the past 2 years all came rushing to her heart. Sister Piaoling, I'm back. Looking at Shui Piaoling, who was crying and whose face was wet, Yi Qinfeng suddenly felt a heartache and said gently, Qingfeng. Yi Qinfeng's gentle voice echoed in Shui Piaoling's ears. For some reason, Shui Piaoling had the urge to jump into his arms. She bit her wet lips and quickly ran over. Looking at Shui Piaoling, who was running toward him, Yi Qinfeng subconsciously opened his arms. But thinking of Shui Piaoling's identity and his respect for her, Yi Qinfeng's arms stopped halfway. But at this moment, Shui Piaoling's soft body took the initiative to throw herself into his arms. Her arms were like spiritual snakes and tightly wrapped around Yi Qinfeng's body. A large amount of tears flowed uncontrollably. Because Shui Piaoling used too much strength, her soft body almost melted into Yi Qinfeng's body. Yi Qinfeng could clearly feel the softness of her breasts and her heartbeat. A strange feeling arose in Yi Qinfeng's heart. Sister Piaoling, Qingfeng, don't talk. Let me hold you for a while. Shui Piaoling sobbed and said. It seemed that she wanted to vent all the grievances and pains she had suffered all these years in Yi Qinfeng's warm arms. Hearing Shui Piaoling's murmur and feeling her slightly trembling body, Yi Qinfeng slowly put down his arms that were suspended in the air. He hugged Shui Piaoling's soft body and let her cry loudly. At this moment, the forest was silent. Yi Qinfeng and Shui Piaoling, who were not supposed to have an intimate relationship, hugged each other tightly in the quiet forest. 2 soft hearts also collided at this moment. 30/30709 mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 698. Cough. Have the 2 of you hugged enough? Suddenly, a cough broke the silence. Sensing Yi Qinfeng's aura, Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi walked out from the gloomy forest. Master, Grand Elder. Hearing Shui Sanqin's voice, Shui Piaoling's delicate face immediately blushed. She quickly left Yi Qinfeng's warm embrace with a trace of shyness in her eyes. Qingfeng pays his respects to the 2 seniors. Yi Chenfeng quickly regained his composure and bowed deeply towards Shui Sanqin and Shui Tianqi, performing the etiquette of a disciple. Level 6 Defiant Beast King. Chengfeng, you are indeed more monstrous than we had imagined. Feeling the sharp aura emitted from Yi Chenfeng's body, Shui Sanqin revealed a faint smile and said, Chengfeng, where have you been all these years? What have you experienced? Shui Tianqi asked. Back then, I was chased by Mo Fengyan. I escaped to the western continent through a teleportation array. Yi Chenfeng briefly recounted his experience in the western continent. Chengfeng, you have experienced so much in the western continent in these 2 years. The Western Demon sect was really destroyed by you. After listening to Yi Chenfeng's narration, Shui Sanqin and the other two were unable to calm down for a long time. They never thought that Yi Chenfeng would be so monstrous that he could single-handedly destroy the Western Demon sect. Yes, the Western Demon sect was destroyed by me. However, Mo Fengyan was too strong. I couldn't kill him. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Then, Chengfeng, with your current strength, can you fight against a level 3 Beast Emperor? Shui Piaoling asked with some expectation. If Yi Chenfeng could fight against Shou Laiyun, then the threat of the myriad Beast Mountain would be negligible. When I destroyed the Western Demon sect, Mo Fengyan had already broken through to level 4 Beast Emperor. Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile and said, Really? Shui Piaoling's beautiful big eyes revealed a look of surprise as she said excitedly, Sister Piaoling, I know what you're worried about. If the myriad Beast Mountain dares to humiliate you, I don't mind letting them follow in the footsteps of the Western Demon sect and kill them. Yi Chenfeng smiled and said tyrannically, Good. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's confidence, Shui Piaoling and the others' hearts were relieved. Sister Piaoling, can you bring Qing Xue and Xia here? I have a gift for you. Yi Chenfeng said softly, Piaoling nodding her Shui Piaoling. After a while, Ji Qingxue and Bai Xia, who were so excited that they couldn't speak, followed Shui Piaoling, who had regained her graceful posture. They arrived at the quiet mountain valley and saw Yi Chenfeng, who was talking to Shui Sanqin. Chenfeng, seeing Yi Chenfeng's familiar face, the two girls immediately burst into tears. They ran over and threw themselves into Yi Chenfeng's arms. Seeing the two girls hugging Yi Chenfeng tightly, Shui Piaoling sighed softly in her heart. She had just opened her heart for Yi Chenfeng, but she quietly closed it again. Come, I have a gift for everyone. Yi Chenfeng comforted the two girls for a while. He then took out 5 weapons from the universal mirror and gave them to Piaoling and the others. This is a heaven artifact. Feeling the water Dao intent from the aqua blue heavenly sword in her hand, Ji Qingxue's beautiful face revealed a look of deep surprise. The weapon Yi Chenfeng gave to Bai Xia was also a heaven sword. Bai Xia couldn't put it down and was so excited that her face flushed red. However, Piaoling and the other two didn't show any surprise. At this time, the 3 of them were completely stunned by the weapons Yi Chenfeng gave them. Holding the Quasi-Dao artifact, great ominous sword in their hands, they fell into a sluggish state. Chengfeng, is this sword a supreme heaven artifact? Feeling the murderous aura from the great ominous sword, Piaoling asked with some excitement. If she could get a supreme heaven artifact, her attack power would increase by more than 10 times, greatly increasing her combat strength. No, this great ominous sword is not a supreme heaven artifact, but a Quasi-Dao artifact. I got it in a dangerous place. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, Quasi-Dao artifact. Piaoling and the other two were stunned, as if they were cast by a body immobilization spell. They stood there dumbfounded, revealing a look of horror. In addition to these 5 weapons, I also have some elixirs for you. Yi Chenfeng took out a large number of elixirs from the heaven and earth mirror, including 5 pseudo-Dao elixirs. These priceless elixirs were obtained by Yi Chenfeng when he ransacked the West Devil Sect's treasure vault. These are pseudo-Dao elixirs, Shui Sanqin said with some excitement as she smelled the refreshing medicinal fragrance from the pseudo-Dao elixirs. Yes, I got these elixirs from the West Devil Sect's treasure vault. With the help of these elixirs, everyone should be able to make a qualitative leap in a short period of time. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, Chenfeng, these things are too precious. Pialing Shui said gratefully, these are precious. I have something even more precious to give you. With that, Yi Chenfeng took out several jade slips of Dao skills and handed them to Pialing Shui. These jade slips included the number 1 martial art of the East Sea Palace, the number 1 force in the Eastern Continent, the 3 absolutes of water. Dao skills, these are all Dao skills. Pialing Shui quickly browsed through the jade slips that Yi Chenfeng had given her. Her heart trembled again. Dao skills represented the heritage of a sect and were the foundation of the sect's inheritance. Their value was immeasurable. Yes, these are all from the enemies that I have killed or obtained in the ominous grounds over the years. Among them, the 3 absolutes of water engraved on the blue jade slip is the number 1 martial art of the East Sea Palace, the number 1 force in the Eastern Continent. It has reached the level of an upper Dao skill. Yi Chenfeng nodded and said, the number 1 martial art of the East Sea Palace. Upper Dao skill. Shui Piaoling and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. They were completely disappointed by Yi Chenfeng's generosity. What kind of existence was the East Sea Palace? It was one of the top 8 holy lands. It was many times more powerful than the Misty Mountain in its heyday. The value of the number 1 martial art of the East Sea Palace was immeasurable. It was definitely more powerful than a powerful Dao treasure. Chenfeng, how did you get the 3 absolutes of water? Shui Sanqin asked after she took a deep breath and calmed down the shock in her heart. Please forgive me for keeping it secret. However, when I was in the Eastern Continent, I offended the East Sea Palace, the Yu family, and the 9 Nether Mountain. I came back this time to ask you to leave the Northern Continent as soon as possible so that you won't be implicated by me and suffer the bloody revenge of the 3 holy lands. As it involved the God-Eater brain, Yi Chenfeng intentionally concealed some important information. However, he told them about the conflict between him and the 3 holy lands. Offended the 3 holy lands? After listening to Yi Chenfeng, Shui Sanqin and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. It could be said that everything Yi Chenfeng had just told them had exceeded their imaginations. It made them feel a sense of trepidation. However, when Pialing Shui and the others found out that Yi Chenfeng had offended the 3 holy lands because of Yu Nikhang, they all felt a sense of bitterness in their hearts. Ji Qingxue, in particular, had a look of regret. If she had not been short-sighted, she might have occupied the most important position in Yi Chenfeng's heart. Chenfeng, the 3 holy lands of the Eastern Continent are too powerful. If they want to take revenge on the Misty Mountain, I'm afraid there won't be a place for the Misty Mountain in the entire Duhan continent. Shui Tianqi felt the seriousness of the situation and took a deep breath. Actually, I've already thought of a way out for everyone. After we deal with the Myriad Beast Mountain, we'll immediately leave the Northern Spirit region and head to the North Sea. We'll recuperate here and wait for an opportunity to rise again. I promise everyone that when we return to the Northern Continent one day, I'll definitely make the Misty Mountain one of the 8 holy lands and stand at the top of the 4 continents. Yi Chenfeng promised with lofty sentiments. 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 699, 22386-144. Early in the morning, the gentle light penetrated through the layers of ancient trees and sprinkled into the forest, waking up the people who were cultivating in the forest. After refining the elixirs given by Yi Chenfeng, Ji Qingxue, and Bai Xia, who had cultivated to 3rd-grade mystic beast ancestor, had faint signs of a breakthrough. Shui Piaoling and the other 2 also had obvious improvements in their strength. Shou Laiyun and the rest are here. Let's go out. Yi Chenfeng's powerful soul power sensed more than 20 experts riding on powerful heavenly beasts flying into spiritual mountain. His deep eyes emitted a cold light as he slowly stood up and said, Shui, this is your last deadline. If you reject me again, don't blame me for being ruthless and washing your misty mountain with blood. After gathering enough power and sealing off the entire spiritual mountain, Shou Liuyun became even more arrogant. He didn't hide the fanaticism in his heart as he roared arrogantly. Xingfeng, I don't want to hear his voice in the future. Thinking of the humiliation brought by Shou Liuyun, Xue Piaoling gritted her teeth and said with hatred. She didn't doubt that if it wasn't for Yi Qinfeng who came in time and turned the situation around, she who was forced into a dead end would never be able to escape from Shou Liuyun's evil claws. At that time, everything she had would be destroyed by him, and she wouldn't even be able to beg for death. Don't worry, Sister Piaoling. Since he dared to offend you, I will naturally make him pay with blood. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flickered with a stern look as he said with a cold, killing intent. Xue Piaoling, what do you think? Do you agree to be my concubine? Shou Liuyun looked at Xue Piaoling, who was wearing a snow-white jasmine gauze. Her skin was fairer than snow, and her eyes were as clear as water. He asked aggressively, as his attention was completely focused on the elegant and beautiful Xue Piaoling. He didn't notice Yi Chunfeng, who was in the crowd. Shou Liuyun, give up. I will not be your concubine. Advertisement, Xue Piaoling said coldly. Xue Piaoling, I'm very disappointed with your choice. Shou Liuyun revealed a trace of an arrogant smile and said, however, this matter is not up to you to choose. If you don't want the misty mountain to be plunged into misery and suffering and disappear from the northern continent, then obediently follow me. Otherwise, don't blame my myriad beast mountain for massacring your misty mountain. What arrogance! Shou Liuyun, do you really think you are the ruler of the Duhan continent? The corner of Yi Chunfeng's eyes twitched violently. His face was incomparably gloomy as he slowly walked out. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's sarcastic words, the furious Shou Liuyun was about to explode, but his pupils suddenly contracted into the most dangerous pinhole shape. His roaring words were all stuck in his throat, unable to come out. Mother of Asterisker, who do you think you are? Since when is it your turn to speak? A protector of the myriad beast mountain who did not recognize Yi Qinfeng bellowed. A powerful aura radiated from his body, pressing down on Yi Qinfeng. The legend of the desert. Stop! Hearing his subordinates bellow, Shou Liuyun's expression changed drastically. But before he could finish his sentence, 60 sword Dao patterns gushed out from Yi Qinfeng's body. They brought along ear-piercing sonic booms and flew over like lightning. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. Blood splashed out. This Class 5 defiant Beast King Protector didn't have any reaction before he was turned into a sieve by Yi Qinfeng's 60 sword Dao patterns. He fell heavily into a pool of blood and lost his life. Yi Qinfeng, why are you here? Seeing Yi Chunfeng killing his subordinate in public without saying a word, Shou Liuyun was infuriated. However, he had some misgivings about Yi Qinfeng's strength. Therefore, he didn't flare up on the spot and asked coldly, Shou Liuyun, I notice that you are even more arrogant than Mo Fengyan. Today, let me experience what qualifications you have to be so arrogant. Yi Qinfeng looked at Shou Liuyun with a hazy gaze. The battle intent in his body was raised to the extreme. An unparalleled aura swept toward Shou Liuyun and the others with his body as the center. Sensing the unparalleled battle intent gushing out from Yi Qinfeng's body, many experts of the myriad beast mountain felt like mice that saw a cat. Their hearts were filled with fear and couldn't produce any trace of battle intent. Yi Qinfeng, don't go overboard. If you provoke me, I won't let you have an easy time. Shou Liuyun didn't expect Yi Qinfeng to make a move as soon as he said so. His face instantly turned gloomy as he warned in anger. Yes, I'm going overboard. What can you do about it? Yi Qinfeng spoke in an overbearing manner. He instantly fused with the two-headed blood dragon king and ignited his dragon bloodline. He transformed into a half-human, half-dragon beast soul form and amplified his soul power by 4 folds. Swish! The sound of cloth being torn echoed. Yi Qinfeng turned into an afterimage and appeared in front of Shou Liuyun with lightning speed. Immediately after, the Emperor's Sky sword appeared in Yi Qinfeng's hand. It tore through the air and thrust towards Shou Liuyun's chest. Middle-grade Dao artifact. Shou Liuyun already knew that Yi Chunfeng possessed a mid-grade Dao artifact. He didn't take the attack of the Emperor's Sky sword head-on. His body flashed slightly and wanted to evade. Shou Liuyun's reaction speed was extremely fast, but Yi Chunfeng's attack speed was even faster. He flicked his wrist and instantly thrusted out 36 instant kill swords, sealing off all of Shou Liuyun's dodging space. Myriad Beast Tide. After the dodging space was sealed off by the Emperor's Sky Sword Light, Shou Liuyun immediately transformed into his strongest beast soul form. He controlled several Dao intense and condensed malevolent beast shadows to defend against the Emperor's Sky Sword Light. 7 Swords of Judgment, Annihilation. While Shou Liuyun was defending with all his might, Yi Chunfeng skimmed across the sky and slashed at Shou Liuyun with terrifying Annihilation Sword Light. It left a deep sword scar in midair and slashed toward Shou Liuyun with unstoppable force. Beastbone Scepter. At the critical moment, Shou Liuyun took out the Supreme Grade Heaven artifact Beastbone Scepter and used it to block in front of him to resist the Annihilation Sword Light. Male teacher of female student. Boom! As the Annihilation Sword Light slashed down, the space around Shou Liuyun's body immediately collapsed. The terrifying Annihilation power forcibly shattered the Beastbone Scepter and bombarded Shou Liuyun's body, sending him flying. A large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. So powerful. Chunfeng is actually so powerful. Witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng suppressing Shou Liuyun and injuring him, Xue Piaoling and the others widened their eyes in shock. Dual-headed purple light snake, black-winged golden eagle. After experiencing Yi Chunfeng's terrifying attack power, the heavily injured Shou Liuyun immediately summoned 2 level 8 heavenly beasts and besieged Yi Chunfeng. The 2 heavenly beasts that Shou Liuyun subdued were not ordinary heavenly beasts, but mutated heavenly beasts. When the 2 heavenly beasts worked together, they could threaten a level 4 combat beast emperor. They were also Shou Liuyun's biggest trump card. Sword Puppet. When the 2 heavenly beasts got close, Yi Chunfeng did not hesitate to summon the sword puppet that still had 1/5 of its energy left and attacked the 2 level 8 heavenly beasts. After fusing with a large amount of low-tier heavenly crystals, the sword puppet's strength was comparable to a level 6 combat beast emperor. Under its full power attack, the 2 mutated heavenly beasts could not withstand it. In just 10 breaths, the dual-headed purple light snake and black-winged golden eagle were heavily injured by the sword puppet. A large amount of blood flowed out from their huge bodies. Stop, Yi Chunfeng, stop immediately. When Shou Liuyun saw Yi Chunfeng lending the Emperor's Sky sword to the sword puppet, he panicked and shouted at Yi Chunfeng. Once the 2 heavenly beasts were killed, Shou Liuyun's strength would be greatly reduced. However, Yi Chunfeng turned a deaf ear to his shouts and ordered the sword puppet to attack with full power. Under the ferocious attacks of the sword puppet with the Emperor's Sky Sword, the dual-headed purple light snake and black-winged golden eagle's bodies were quickly cut into pieces. They fell into a pool of blood and died on the spot. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 700. Yi Chunfeng, I have no enmity with you. Why did you kill my 2 tame beasts? Looking at the corpses of the 2 mutated heavenly beasts that he had spent so much effort to contract, Shou Liuyun fell into madness. He stared at Yi Chunfeng with his blood-red eyes and roared loudly. Shou Liuyun, you indeed have no enmity with me, but you shouldn't have humiliated Misty Mountain. Yi Chunfeng sneered and said with killing intent, Chaos Divine Beast, Golden Dragon Blood Lion, come out. With a thought, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 2 heavenly beasts and ordered them to swallow the double-headed purple ray snake and black-winged golden eagle's demonic core and demon heart, sealing off the escape route of the 10,000 Beast Mountain experts. Level 8 Heavenly Beasts. Chunfeng has also subdued 2 level 8 Heavenly Beasts. Feeling the terrifying aura of the chaos divine beast, golden dragon bloodlion, Shui Songqin and the rest had a huge wave in their hearts. They felt that they couldn't see through Yi Chenfeng anymore. His various methods were beyond their imagination. Good. So was my 10,000 Beast Mountain's fault. I am willing to give this spiritual mountain to Misty Mountain and promise to never invade Misty Mountain. Although Shou Laiyun was very angry, he was indeed apprehensive of the sword puppet. He had no choice but to lower his noble head and said in a low voice, Shou Laiyun, you are really calculating. This spiritual mountain was discovered by my Misty Mountain first. What does it have to do with your 10,000 Beast Mountain? Yi Chenfeng sneered and said, Yi Chenfeng, then what do you want? Shou Laiyun said sullenly. As the person with the greatest authority in the southern continent, he had never suffered such humiliation. He had never thought that he would fall into the hands of Yi Chenfeng. If he had known the relationship between Yi Chenfeng and Misty Mountain, he would never have been so bold as to force Shui Piaoling to deal with Misty Mountain. You have offended Sister Piaoling. Use your life to atone for your crime. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng's body flashed slightly and continued to attack Shou Laiyun. Heavenly treasure, beast metal stone. As Yi Chenfeng approached, Shou Laiyun immediately took out a golden stone that looked like a lion's head. It released a heaven-shaking beast roar and attacked Yi Chenfeng. Vermilion bird cauldron, collect. Yi Chenfeng immediately took out the vermilion bird cauldron and opened its lid. He sucked the beast gold into the cauldron and quickly refined it. Under the refinement of the vermilion bird's soul, Shou Jinshi's resistance became weaker and weaker. Soon, he lost contact with Shou Laiyun. You took away my beast gold stone. Sensing that he had lost contact with Shou Jinshi, Shou Laiyun's eyes widened as if he had seen a ghost. The uneasiness in his heart grew even more intense. Yi Chenfeng coldly said, Shou Laiyun, if you still have any tricks up your sleeves, use them all. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't have any more chances. Yi Chenfeng, I don't know what it will take for you to let me go. As long as you say it, I will definitely agree. After seeing Yi Chenfeng's methods that were close to that of a heavenly being, Shou Laiyun was truly afraid. He didn't want to die and could only beg for mercy in humiliation. Facing Shou Laiyun's begging, Yi Chenfeng was unmoved as he coldly said, Shou Laiyun, when you were pressuring Sister Piaoling in Misty Mountain, did you ever think that you would have such a day? After speaking, Yi Chenfeng took the Emperor Sky sword from the sword puppet and continued to attack Shou Laiyun with irresistible force. Dazzling and blazing warships that were mixed with several Dao intense swept through the heavens and earth. They attacked Shou Laiyun with all their might and suppressed his attacks. Under Yi Chenfeng's wave after wave of attacks, Shou Laiyun's supreme-grade heaven artifact Beastbone scepter shattered. The terrifying warships broke through his defenses and left a deep sword wound on his chest. Large amounts of blood spurted out like a fountain. What are you all standing there for? Attack together. Unable to withstand Yi Chenfeng's ferocious attacks, the injured Shou Laiyun immediately shouted at the panicking experts of 10,000 Beast Mountain. Roar! Roar! Whoever dares to make a move, I will bite him to death. Just as Shou Laiyun finished his words, the Chaos Divine Beast roared and warned ferociously. Hearing the Chaos Divine Beast's warning, the experts of 10,000 Beast Mountain immediately became well-behaved. No one stepped forward to help, which made Shou Laiyun so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Yi Chenfeng, I can tell you clearly that Mo Fengyun and the Yu family's experts are on the way. If you're willing to let me go, I can help you deal with them. Otherwise, when they arrive, it will be your time to die. Shou Laiyun, whose life was hanging by a thread, shouted loudly. He wanted to use this secret in exchange for his life. As expected, Mo Fengyun wants to use Misty Mountain to deal with me. Yi Chenfeng's brows twitched as he confirmed his guess through Shou Laiyun. When Shui Piaoling and the others heard Shou Laiyun shout, their expression changed and they felt uneasy. Yi Chenfeng, you might be strong, but no matter how strong you are, you can't be stronger than the Yu family. As long as you are willing to let me go, I can help you deal with them. Shou Laiyun said patiently. Shou Laiyun, do you think I will believe your words? The corner of Yi Qinfeng's mouth slightly curved up. With a flash, he appeared beside Shou Liuyun with the sword puppet. Subsequently, Yi Qinfeng and the sword puppet made their move together and heavily injured Shou Liuyun with a thunderous force. Shou Liuyun, who was screaming in fear, was restrained. Heaven Dao pattern restriction. In order to prevent Shou Liuyun from exploding his heart meridians during the soul searching, Yi Qinfeng controlled 7 Heaven Dao patterns to break through Shou Liuyun's body defense and forcefully sealed his heart meridians. Soul searching. Yi Qinfeng pressed one hand on Shou Liuyun's head. Under Shou Liuyun's fearful gaze, he controlled the god-devouring brain to perform a soul searching. As expected, Mo Fengyun and the others are on their way here. Other than Mo Fengyun, the Yu family also sent 3 demon guards. Through the soul searching, Yi Qinfeng obtained a lot of valuable information from Shou Liuyun's mind. Soul-devouring art, soul-devouring. Since Shou Liuyun was worthless, Yi Qinfeng didn't show any mercy. He circulated the soul-devouring art and directly devoured Shou Liuyun's soul beast, shattering his soul and ending his life. Sword puppet, 2 heavenly beasts, annihilate them for me. After killing Shou Liuyun, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered the sword puppet and the 2 heavenly beasts to attack the panicking and fleeing experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain. They killed all the experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain who came with Shou Liuyun. Following that, Yi Qinfeng ordered them to appear outside the spiritual mountain and massacre the experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountain who had sealed off the spiritual mountain. Sister Piaoling, the situation is urgent. You all should leave this place first and take a ship to the North Sticky Star Island. Wait for me there. After I have dealt with Mo Fengyun and the Yu family's demon guards, I will look for you all. Yi Qinfeng wasn't sure if there were any other experts of the Yu family who followed them here other than Mo Fengyun and the demon guards. He planned to let Shui Piaoling and the others leave first while he stayed here to buy time. But Qinfeng, don't worry, Sister Piaoling. As long as you all leave with my strength and trump cards, even a level 6 combat Beast Emperor wouldn't be able to kill me. Yi Qinfeng interrupted Shui Piaoling's words and said confidently, Piaoling, listen to Qinfeng. With our strength, not only will we be of no help, we will also become a burden. Quickly gather the disciples of the Misty Mountain. We will leave this place separately. Shui Sanqin felt the seriousness of the situation and decided, all right then. Qinfeng, take care. We will wait for you in the North Sea. Shui Piaoling took a deep look at Yi Qinfeng. She suppressed the fear in her heart and immediately gathered the disciples of the Misty Mountain. Jin Xing, Dragon Blood Lion, Hundun, I will leave the mission of protecting Sister Piaoling and the others to you. No matter what, you must not let them get hurt. To be safe, Yi Qinfeng asked the 2 heavenly beasts to protect Shui Piaoling and the others as they left. Don't worry, boss. With me and Old Lion here, they will definitely be able to reach the 3 Stars Island safely. The Hundun Divine Beast promised. In order to avoid any accidents during the evacuation, Yi Qinfeng gave Shui Piaoling the navigation of the 3 Stars Island and asked them to leave separately. Qinfeng, you must take care of yourself. We will wait for you at the 3 Stars Island. Ji Qingxue looked at Yi Qinfeng reluctantly and said tenderly, don't worry. No one in the Duhun continent can kill me. Don't worry, Yi Qinfeng said arrogantly. Qinfeng, take care of yourself. We will wait for you. These few simple words made Yi Qinfeng feel Shui Piaoling's sincerity. After saying that, the group of people from a Misty Mountain did not delay any longer. They left the spiritual mountain separately and secretly went to the North Pace Star Island through various channels. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 701. Mo Fengyun, it's time to fight to the death with you. After Shui Piaoling and the others left, Yi Qinfeng took away the belongings of Shou Liuyun and the others. He sat cross-legged in the spiritual mountain and recuperated while releasing a powerful soul spirit to cover the area around the spiritual mountain. He waited for Mo Fengyun and the 3 Yu family demon guards to arrive. After about 8 hours, Shou Liuyun's communication pearl suddenly lit up. Mo Fengyun's voice sounded from the communication pearl. Yi Chenfeng imitated Shou Liyun's voice and lured Mo Fengyun and the others to the spiritual mountain. He immediately took out a large number of array bases and scattered them around the spiritual mountain. He set up a trap array and was prepared to trap Mo Fengyun and the others in the spiritual mountain. Not long after Yi Chenfeng set up the trap array, for ear-piercing sounds broke through the air. Mo Fengyun appeared in the sky above the spiritual mountain with 4 expressionless Yu family demon guards in black armor. What a strong smell of blood. Sensing the smell of blood in the spiritual mountain, Mo Fengyun frowned and became alert. He took out his communication pearl and contacted Shou Liyun. However, Yi Chenfeng had already crushed Shou Liyun's communication pearl. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't reach Shou Liyun. Did something happen to Shou Liyun? Mo Fengyun frowned and hesitated. Eventually, he brought the 3 Yu family demon guards and flew into the spiritual mountain. The spiritual mountain was filled with towering trees that covered the sky and was filled with dense spiritual energy. Mo Fengyun, you are finally here. I have been waiting for you for a long time. When Mo Fengyun flew into Spirit Mountain with the 3 great Yu clan demon guards, a clanging voice exploded in his ears like thunder. This voice. Yi Chenfeng. Mo Fengyun's expression froze when he heard the thunderous voice. Through the source of the voice, he unexpectedly discovered that Yi Chenfeng was standing under an ancient tree that was dozens of meters tall, looking at him with a smile that was not a smile. Yi Chenfeng, you are actually here. It seems that Shou Liyun has already been killed by you. Mo Fengyun stood in the air and looked at Yi Chenfeng vigilantly as he said coldly. It could be said that Yi Chenfeng's appearance was beyond his expectations. When he saw the sword puppet, he felt uneasy. Fengyun, Yi Chenfeng's communication pearl. The Yu family to kill Shou Liyun's to kill him. Yi Chenfeng's lips slightly curled up, killing intent to kill the Yu, the death to kill. You to kill me. The Fengyun, Yi Fengyun, see the to kill, the death to kills you to kill me. You. To kill is for me to kill. Mo Fengyun's eyes flickered with cold light as his mind was spinning rapidly. He was hesitating if he should take the risk and attack Yi Chenfeng. Go kill him for me. After hesitating for a while, Mo Fengyun ordered the 3 demon guards of the Yu family to surround and kill Yi Chenfeng. Swish, swish, swish. There were 3 ear-piercing, air-rending sounds as the 3 Yu family demon guards in black armor approached Yi Chenfeng. They wielded extremely sharp demon weapons and attacked Yi Chenfeng. The moment the 3 demon guards attacked, Yi Chenfeng activated the trap array hidden in the forest. It enveloped a region of a few miles and trapped Mo Fengyun, who had turned pale with fright. Bam! 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 The demon weapons of the 3 demon guards struck the sword puppet's body, creating a large amount of sparks. After using its body to block the 3 Yu family demon guards, the sword puppet immediately counterattacked with the Emperor's Sky Sword. An extremely sharp sword aura cleaved towards the 3 demon guards from a short distance away. The 3 demon guards were sent flying by the sword aura. When the sword puppet used its powerful strength to suppress the 3 Yu family demon guards, Yi Chenfeng immediately burned his God-Fiend bloodline and transformed into the most terrifying God-Fiend body. With a suffocating pressure, he flew towards Mo Fengyun, who was preparing to tear open the trap array and leave. Mo Fengyun, aren't you here to kill me? Why are you so scared that you want to run after seeing me? Yi Chenfeng looked at Mo Fengyun, who had a grave expression, and sneered coldly. You are courting death. Mo Fengyun couldn't break open the trap array in a short period of time. He took out the Sky Demon Dao weapon and cleaved towards Yi Chenfeng with overwhelming demonic aura. Vermilion Bird Cauldron. As the Sky Demon Dao weapon tore through space and cleaved towards Mo Fengyun, Yi Chenfeng decisively summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. Like a small burning meteor, it slammed into the Sky Demon Dao weapon. Bang! A deafening collision sound rang out. The terrifying impact formed a terrifying shockwave that suddenly exploded. The terrifying impact caused Mo Fengyun's arm to feel numb. Without any hesitation, he transformed into his beast soul form and increased his strength further, forcefully repelling the vermilion bird cauldron. After burning the power of his bloodline, Mo Fengyun's aura reached its peak. He was like a demonic god as he continued to attack Yi Chunfeng with the Sky Demon Dao weapon. The terrifying demonic saber slashed through the void with a horrifying might of mountains and rivers, heading straight for Yi Chunfeng. 7 Swords of Judgment. Emperor Sky Sword Art. Facing the continuous attacks of Mo Fengyun, Yi Chunfeng didn't dodge. Instead, he held the great ominous sword tightly and counterattacked fiercely. The 7 Swords of Judgment and Emperor Sky Sword Radiance intertwined to resist Mo Fengyun's attacks. As the attacks of the two were too ferocious, they were like 2 shocking waves crashing against each other. A destructive storm was formed in midair, causing the trap array that enveloped the void to tremble violently. 7 Swords of Judgment. Relying on his physical body that was comparable to a quasi-Dao treasure to resist the impact of the destructive storm, Yi Chunfeng's body flashed and merged with the great ominous sword. The great Dao intent in his body exploded with a force of nearly 40 million kilograms. With the power to engulf the heavens and earth, it tore apart the destructive storm and slashed towards Mo Fengyun. Faced with such a powerful sword that had the power to rule the world, Mo Fengyun felt as though the world was collapsing. He didn't hesitate to use his powerful Dao technique to counter the attack. Boom! A thunderous explosion reverberated throughout the 9 heavens. The 2 Dao intents collided like a raging tide and formed an endless destructive force that instantly engulfed Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun. The ancient trees and boulders in the trap array were instantly crushed and razed to the ground. The ground that was shaking violently cracked with crisscrossing fissures. PFFF. Facing Mo Fengyun's terrifying Dao intent head-on, Yi Chunfeng's body trembled and a large amount of blood spurted out from his mouth. He took a deep breath and quickly circulated the soul-devouring art to suppress the injuries on his body. He continued to charge into the destructive storm and continued to attack Mo Fengyun with the great ominous sword in his hand. He fought fiercely with Mo Fengyun in the destructive storm. Saber radiance and sword shadows clashed fiercely, and ear-piercing explosions were incessant. The terrifying attacks constantly struck the chaotic space, riddling it with holes. Just as the battle between Yi Chunfeng and Mo Fengyun reached its climax, the sword puppet relied on its absolute strength and terrifying attack power to kill 3 Yu family demon guards. Oh no! Mo Fengyun's heart skipped a beat when he saw the 3 Yu family demon guards being killed by the sword puppet. He decisively gave up on killing Yi Chunfeng and merged with the Sky Demon Dao soldier to attack the broken trap array. He wanted to forcefully break out of the array and leave. Mo Fengyun, leave your life to me obediently. While Mo Fengyun was attacking the trap array with all his strength, Yi Chunfeng ignored his injuries and attacked him with the sword puppet. He wanted to borrow the power of the sword puppet to kill this formidable enemy. 30/30709 mobile reading website. Book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 702. Demonic Heart Ignite. Trapped in a desperate situation, Mo Fengyun rapidly ignited the power of his demonic heart and increased his strength to the greatest extent. With one slash, he opened up a gap in the trapping array that was filled with cracks. 77777726F6474772E636F6D inch crescent sword arc. Just as Mo Fengyun was about to fly out of the trapping array, the sword puppet immediately ignited a powerful energy and slashed out a crescent sword arc. It was like a demonic crescent moon that slashed towards Mo Fengyun. The terrifying sword prowess forced Mo Fengyun back, and did not give him a chance to break out. Wrath of divine punishment. As Mo Fengyun was forced back by the sword puppet, the three heaven spirits gushed out Yi Chunfeng's body and compressed it to the extreme. They turned into a tricolored energy bead and blasted towards Mo Fengyun. Break! As the tricolored energy bead neared, Mo Fengyun immediately slashed out with the sky demon Dao soldier. Boundless energy was released along with the furious roar of the thunder god. It engulfed Mo Fengyun like a volcanic eruption. Slash! Seizing this opportunity, the sword puppet slashed out 18 times consecutively, leaving deep sword scars in the void. It broke into the destructive storm and severely injured Mo Fengyun's body. Heartless Heaven Dao, Extreme Dao of Xianming. The sword puppet attacked Mo Fengyun ferociously. At this moment, Yi Chunfeng did not care about his injuries and continuously used powerful Dao techniques to attack Mo Fengyun. He was determined to kill Mo Fengyun and prevent any future troubles. Die. Just as Mo Fengyun's attacks were completely suppressed and he was in danger, the sword puppet suddenly ignited a huge amount of energy and poured it into the Ascended Sky Sword. It stimulated the attacking power of the Ascended Sky Sword and slashed towards Mo Fengyun, who was unable to dodge. As the sword slashed out, it swept across the heavens and earth. The terrifying Ascendant Sky Sword radiance brought along unparalleled destructive power and tore apart the firmament. As far as the eye could see, the sword puppet's sword was like a spatial crack that tore through the void. It was so powerful that it wanted to split Mo Fengyun's body in half.
268-253-457-319-582-359-311946775916971116971101034. Almost everyone who wants to see has it. It's much more stable than the average website, and it updates faster. It's all text without advertisements. Destruction Crystal. With his life hanging by a thread, Mo Fengyun, who smelled the threat of death, decisively took out a half-meter-tall black crystal that contained infinite power and blocked in front of him, forcefully blocking the fatal strike of the sword puppet. Boom! The destruction demonic crystal couldn't withstand this fatal blow and shattered. A thunderous sound spread out, exploding in the void, echoing through the nine heavens. The terrifying sound made people's minds tremble, and they felt despair and fear. For a moment, the entire space was distorted by the explosion of the destruction mana crystal, and a large number of spatial cracks were wantonly dancing like snakes, as if the end of the world had arrived. Oh no! Yi Chunfeng transformed into his celestial demon body. Although his strength was comparable to a quasi-Dao artifact, he couldn't withstand the energy released by the destruction mana crystal. He decisively hid behind the sword puppet, using its indestructible body to neutralize the attack. Although Mo Fengyun had dodged in advance, he was still affected. The celestial armor he wore was completely shattered, and a large amount of blood spurted out uncontrollably from his mangled body. Sword puppet, kill him for me. After forcefully colliding with the destruction mana crystal, the sword puppet didn't have much energy left. However, in order to kill Mo Fengyun, Yi Chunfeng couldn't care less. He ordered the sword puppet to kill him with all its might. However, at this moment, Yi Chunfeng, who was also heavily injured, suddenly felt danger approaching. Without thinking, he decisively ignited the golden rock bloodline, raised his speed to the peak, and dodged to the side. Boom! Boom! The moment Yi Chunfeng dodged, two terrifying Dao wheels bombarded the space where he was just a moment ago. The terrifying power directly caused the area to collapse. Yi Chunfeng, your reaction is not slow. Under such circumstances, you actually dodged our attack. At this moment, a deep voice resounded in the chaotic spiritual mountain. The two mainstays of the Yu family, Yu Gu, who was a level 5 beast emperor, and the silver-haired old woman stepped on the void and appeared at the same time. I didn't expect that in order to kill me, the Yu family would actually send the two of you. Should I feel honored?
Yi Chen-feng said solemnly. With only 2,000 years left in his lifespan, he could no longer use the life spirit technique. If he didn't use the life spirit technique, he wouldn't be able to fight against the two supreme elders of the Yu family. Helpless, Yi Chen-feng could only give up on killing Mo Fengyan. He summoned the sword puppet back to prevent the two supreme elders from launching a thunderous attack to kill him. Yi Chen-feng, you're the most talented young man I have seen in all these years. Even I can't bear to kill you. Yu Shan looked deeply at Yi Chen-feng and said slowly, how about this? If you surrender obediently and allow me to imprint a soul imprint in your mind, I will spare your life. What if I don't agree? Yi Chen-feng had already expected that the Yu family might be hiding a hidden hand. Hence, he had already thought of a way to retreat. Hence, he said fearlessly, if you don't agree, then I will send you to hell. Thinking about the humiliation that Yi Chen-feng had brought to her a few days ago, the silver-haired old woman gritted her teeth and said ruthlessly, whoosh. Just as the silver-haired old woman finished speaking, Yi Chen-feng's golden rock wings flapped rapidly and flew out of the spiritual mountain at an extremely fast speed. Where do you think you're going? Yu Shan and the other supreme elders were already prepared for Yi Chen-feng to escape. The moment he tried to escape, the two of them attacked at the same time. Like two streaks of lightning, they intercepted Yi Chen-feng. At the same time, Mo Fengyan, who was covered in injuries and sword wounds, flew over to help Yu Shan and the other supreme elders obstruct Yi Chen-feng and kill him with all his might. Sword puppet, open a path for me. After being intercepted by Yu Shan and the other supreme elders, Yi Chen-feng immediately ordered the sword puppet, which had little energy left, to attack with all its might. Wong. The sword puppet slashed out with all its might. The terrifying Empyrean sword radiance was like a falling star. It swept across the sky and forcefully tore apart the obstruction of Yu Shan and the other supreme elders, forcing them to retreat. Following which, Yi Chen-feng's body flashed slightly and dashed out. He flew out of the spiritual mountain at an extremely fast speed towards the southern continent. Sky Demon, Dance of the Eight Directions. Seeing that Yi Chen-feng had broken out of the encirclement, Mo Fengyan didn't care about his injuries and forcefully fused with the demon heart. He executed the strongest demonic art that he knew and slashed out 8 times consecutively. They cut across the void and sealed off Yi Chen-feng's escape route. Break. At this moment, the sword puppet flew over. Relying on its absolute strength and attack, it shattered a sky demon sword radiance. Demonic statue. Seeing that Yi Chen-feng had broken out of the encirclement, Yu Gu turned into an afterimage and blocked in front of Yi Chen-feng. He held onto the Yu family's most prized treasure, the demonic statue, and attacked Yi Chen-feng. Vermilion bird cauldron. The demonic aura of the demonic statue suppressed over. Yi Chen-feng immediately took out the vermilion bird cauldron and spat a few mouthfuls of essence blood into it. He raised the vermilion bird cauldron's attack to the greatest extent and collided with it. However, with Yi Chen-feng's current strength, even with the help of the vermilion bird soul, he couldn't unleash the strongest attack of the vermilion bird cauldron. He couldn't withstand the demonic statue's attack. Boom! The two great Taoist treasures collided. The vermilion bird cauldron was directly sent flying by the demonic statue. Yi Chen-feng's body trembled from the impact of the collision of the two great Taoist treasures. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. Yi Chen-feng, it's over. The moment Yi Chen-feng was injured and the sword puppet blocked the demonic statue, the silver-haired old woman suddenly closed in on Yi Chen-feng with the dragon head walking stick in her hand and launched a fatal blow at him. We don't know who will die yet. Chaotic energy. At the critical moment, Yi Chen-feng unleashed all the remaining 20 streaks of chaotic energy in the chaotic divine wood. They bombarded the silver-haired old woman, whose expression changed drastically. The terrifying chaotic energy directly penetrated her body's defenses and sent her flying. Seizing this opportunity, Yi Chen-feng burned the golden rock bloodline to the greatest extent and charged out with the sword puppet. They fled to the southern continent at an extremely fast speed. 30/30709 mobile reading home. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 703. Where do you think you are going? Yugu didn't expect that under such circumstances, Yi Chenfeng still had the means to injure the silver-haired old woman and break out of the encirclement. He decisively increased his speed to the peak and pursued Yi Chenfeng with all his might. In yen, dollar, cotton, flour, Kenny shall say. As for the silver-haired old woman, Mo Fengyun didn't care about his injuries and pursued closely. If he let Yi Chenfeng escape this time, it would be extremely difficult to kill him in the future. Wrath of divine punishment. Yu Gu and the other two pursued rapidly, while Yi Chenfeng constantly controlled the three heaven spirits to bombard them. The terrifying wrath of divine punishment was constantly distorting the spatial zone and slowing down their speed, not giving them a chance to catch up to him. Yi Chenfeng, I advise you to stop your meaningless struggle. With your strength, you won't be able to escape. Yu Gu held onto the demon statue and resisted the attacks of the wrath of divine punishment while roaring loudly, breaking down Yi Chenfeng's psychological defense. You're still far from being able to kill me. Yi Chenfeng wasn't moved and continued to speed up. Soon, he crossed the North Continent and flew into the South Continent. Yi Chenfeng escaped to the South Continent because when he was searching for Shou Liyun's soul spirit, he found out that there was a 10,000-mile teleportation array hidden in the MT Myriad Beast. He could completely shake off the pursuit of Yu Gu and the other two. Ghost God Claw, relying on his absolute strength, Yu Gu immediately made his move when he was close enough to attack. Multiple Dao intents gushed out from his body and merged together, forming a jade-green Ghost God Claw that could rip the void apart. It whizzed and grabbed at Yi Chenfeng. Buzz! Buzz! When Yu Gu's Ghost God Claw reached, the sword puppet immediately made his move. The sharp Emperor Sky sword slashed the Ghost God Claw and didn't give a chance to attack Yi Chenfeng. Damn it! Who exactly created this clone? Why is it so sick? Facing the indestructible sword puppet with terrifying attack power, even Yu Gu felt a headache coming on. If not for the sword puppet's protection, they would have captured Yi Chenfeng long ago. The four of them, one fleeing while the other three pursued, traversed an extremely vast area of the southern continent and slowly approached the 10,000 Beast Mountain located in the depths of the Demon Beast Mountain range. We've finally arrived at 10,000 Beast Mountain. From afar, Yi Chenfeng saw the 10,000 Beast Mountain, which was tens of thousands of meters tall, its peak completely submerged in the sea of clouds. It was like an axe. He immediately released a powerful roar that reverberated through the 9 heavens, startling the entire 10,000 Beast Mountain. Hearing the terrifying sound coming from the horizon, the experts guarding the myriad Beast Mountains immediately activated the Mountain Protection Array, enveloping the entire myriad Beast Mountains within the array that had been passed down for tens of thousands of years to fend off the enemy. With the Mountain Protection Array activated, Yi Chenfeng didn't slow down and rushed over at an extremely fast speed. The reason why Yi Chenfeng ordered the 10,000 Beast Mountains to be on guard and activate the Mountain Protection Array in advance was because when he searched Shou Liyun's soul, he found out about the 10,000 Beast Mountains Mountain Protection Array and the location of the Life Gate. He wanted to borrow the Mountain Protection Array to obstruct the pursuit of Yu Shan, Mo Fengyun, and the others, creating an opportunity for him to teleport away. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sound echoed. With the God-Eater brain's rapid deduction, Yi Chenfeng easily locked onto the location of the Life Gate of the 10,000 Beast Mountains Mountain Protection Array. He burst forth with nearly 20 million gene of force and rushed over without any reduction in speed. Relying on his absolute strength, he directly smashed open the Life Gate of the Mountain Protection Array and entered the chaotic 10,000 Beast Mountains. Who are you? Why are you trespassing into my 10,000 Beast Mountains? Looking at Yi Chenfeng, who had barged into the 10,000 Beast Mountains,
a 10,000 beast mountain protector with white hair, an abnormally tall and sturdy body, and thick black hair all over his body, mustered up his courage and shouted loudly. Shou Liuyun has already been killed by me. If you don't want to die, scram. Otherwise, I don't mind starting a massacre. Yi Qinfeng's sharp gaze swept over him and warned in an overbearing manner. What? Sect Master is dead. Yi Qinfeng's words were like a sudden clap of thunder that set off a huge wave in the 10,000 Beast Mountains. Many people felt panic, and there were also many people who felt doubt. Stop. All of you stop. Just when several bold experts of the 10,000 Beast Mountains wanted to control their heavenly beasts to attack Yi Qinfeng and defend against the enemy, the number one genius of the 10,000 Beast Mountains, Shou Yuing, who had witnessed Yi Qinfeng's battle with Mo Fengyun and the two great elders of the Yu family, appeared and shouted loudly. At this moment, Yu Gu, the white-haired old woman, and Mo Fengyun had caught up. They used all of their strength to attack the 10,000 Beast Mountains' mountain-protecting Grand Array. The terrifying attacks directly distorted the array wall, and a large number of cracks quickly spread out in all directions, scaring everyone in the 10,000 Beast Mountains. Sensing that the 10,000 Beast Mountains' mountain-protecting Grand Array wouldn't be able to hold on for long, Yi Qinfeng didn't delay any longer. He flapped his golden rock wings violently and flew towards the peak of the 10,000 Beast Mountains at top speed. Boom! When Yi Qinfeng flew deep into the clouds and reached the peak of the 10,000 Beast Mountains that was covered in thick white snow, the 10,000 Beast Mountains mountain-protecting Grand Array couldn't withstand the indiscriminate attacks of Yushan and the other two and shattered. Tell me, where did that brat who flew in just now go? The fiendish Yushan grabbed a protector of the 10,000 Beast Mountains and questioned him without allowing any resistance. He is at the peak of the mountain. Sensing the fatal aura emitted from Yushan's body, this protector of the 10,000 Beast Mountains was terrified. He pointed at the peak of the 10,000 Beast Mountains that was submerged in the clouds and spoke with a trembling voice. Kacha! After knowing Yi Qinfeng's whereabouts, Yushan exerted some force with his fingers and cruelly snapped the protector's neck. Then, he flew towards the peak of the mountain with a white-haired old woman and Mo Fengyun. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng had already severely injured the mountain peak's protector. He broke through the mountain peak's restriction and arrived at the hidden teleportation array in the Snow Palace Hall. Yi Qinfeng found 10 teleportation stones from Shou Liuyun's belongings and inserted them into the 10 gaps of the teleportation array. He attempted to activate the teleportation array and leave the 10,000 Beast Mountains. Not good. Teleportation energy. There is a teleportation array hidden here. This Yi Qinfeng is trying to teleport away. When Yi Qinfeng activated the teleportation array with all his strength, Yushan and the other two appeared at the peak of the mountain. Their complexion changed greatly when they felt the teleportation energy coming from the Snow Palace Hall. Jean, let's quickly join hands and destroy that Snow Palace Hall. We must not let him escape. Yushan quickly summoned the Dao Treasure Golem and poured a large amount of soul force into the golem together with the silver-haired old woman. They stimulated the golem's power to the greatest extent and bombarded the Snow Palace Hall with the pressure of Mount Tai. They wanted to destroy the Snow Palace Hall along with the teleportation array. Sword Puppet, ignite all your energy. At the critical moment, Yi Qinfeng ignited all the energy in the sword puppet's body and penetrated the majestic roof of the palace hall. He lifted both his hands and forcibly withstood the golem that was filled with destructive energy and overflowing demonic aura. Activate the teleportation array. Under the sword puppet's all-out defense, Yi Qinfeng successfully activated the teleportation array. A teleportation light shot out and soared into the boundless clouds. Sword Puppet, come back. The instant Yi Qinfeng was engulfed by the teleportation array, he summoned the Sword Puppet that was under tremendous pressure and disappeared into the teleportation array with him. And without the Sword Puppet's defense, the terrifying golem came crashing down with great force, crushing the Snow Palace Hall and destroying the teleportation array. Yi Qinfeng, I will kill you no matter where you go. Sensing that the teleportation array was completely destroyed by the golem's power, Yushan was so angry that he almost vomited blood. On the peak of the snow-covered mountain, he roared toward the sky, venting the anger and unwillingness in his heart. 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 704. Ooh, I finally escaped. After teleporting for a distance of 5,000 kilometers, Yi Chenfeng safely appeared in the depths of a mountain range in the southern continent that had a complicated terrain, dense fog, and towering ancient trees all year round. End. Advertisement. Even though Yi Chenfeng was heavily injured from the battle with Yushan and Mo Fengyun, and his consumption was obvious, but he was afraid that Yushan and the others still had other methods to pursue him. So he didn't waste any time and controlled the illusory Dao insight to transform his appearance before swiftly flying away from this mountain range that extended for countless kilometers, and he flew towards the northern continent with extreme speed. After around 11 days of time, Yi Chenfeng smoothly left the southern continent and traversed the extremely vast territory of the western continent to return to the northern continent. And then he swiftly flew towards the northern coast with the intention of taking the ship to Three-Star Island. The sound of an intense battle. Yi Chenfeng flew without rest for around 3 days and arrived in the sky above a boundless grassland. When he slowly approached the northern coast, his formidable soul suddenly heard the sound of intense battle and the sharp cries of women not far ahead. Yi Chenfeng wasn't a person that liked to meddle in other people's business, and when he wanted to avoid the area of battle ahead, he unexpectedly heard a rough man mention the Northern Sea. They're preparing to go to the Northern Sea as well. Yi Chenfeng's brows raised as he revealed a trace of surprise, and he hesitated for a moment before deciding to fly over and take a look. The reason he changed his mind was because he was worried that Mo Fengyun would guess his whereabouts and deploy troops to seal off the Northern Sea in advance. If that was the case, then it was very likely that he would be suspected if he bought a ship to go out to sea. Moreover, if he mixed in with the group that went out to sea, then even if Mo Fengyun had 3 heads and 6 arms, it would be impossible for him to notice his whereabouts. Masters, please be magnanimous and let us go. So long as you're willing to let us go, we're willing to offer over 1 million soul crystals to you. A man with a stalwart figure and an extremely rugged appearance that wore extraordinarily gorgeous clothes wiped the sweat on his forehead as he ceaselessly begged for mercy. To read the latest chapter, please go to $cotton___ flower candy small say A few corpses that wore the clothes of guards were scattered on the grassland, and the fresh blood that flowed from their bodies dyed the lush green grassland red. Behind his tall and sturdy body, there were 6 beautiful women who were extremely charming to the bone. When the 6 pretty ladies sensed the scorching gazes of the 5 men, who wore shiny armor, held sharp ice blades, and had black skull-shaped silk embroidered on their sleeves, they were so scared that their faces turned pale and they shivered uncontrollably. If you want the 5 of us to let you go, that's fine. But in addition to the 1,000,000 soul crystals, I also want the 6 of them. A bald man with a willow, the wisp pattern embroidered on his face, lecherously looked at the voluptuous bodies of the 6 women and said with evil intentions, "No, husband, please don't abandon us." The 6 pretty girls grabbed the rugged man's arm and begged bitterly. They didn't dare to imagine that if they fell into the hands of these 5 fiendish men, they would definitely be ruined by them. They would be in so much pain that they would wish they were dead, and they might even lose their lives. "Sirs, I'm willing to add 3 million mid-grade soul crystals. I beg you to let us go." The boorish man gritted his teeth and increased the price. "It seems that you are very rich." The bald man looked at him and said, "I suddenly changed my mind. We brothers must take the 6 of them away. As for you, go to hell obediently." Don't mess around. I've been invited by the Lord of the immortal island of the North Sea to go out to sea. If anything happens to us, the Lord of the immortal island will never let you go." Feeling the strong, murderous aura of the 5 men, the boorish man was terrified. He had no choice but to use his trump card in an attempt to intimidate the 5 of them. Humph! The immortal island. Today, even the heavenly king can't save you. The bald man snorted coldly and said, unmoved, "Big brother, don't talk nonsense with him. I can't wait to taste the 6 of them." A skinny man with a big head said impatiently as he looked at the 6 beautiful women who had turned pale with fright, You 6, run quickly. I will hold them off." The boorish man suddenly shouted and took out a mid-grade heavenly weapon from his cosmos ring. He suddenly slashed at the bald man. "You are courting death." The bald man showed a cruel smile. He held a weapon full of sharp barbs and went up to meet the boorish man. He wanted to quickly kill him and take everything he had and the 6 pretty ladies. Rumble. At this moment, a deafening muffled thunder suddenly sounded in the thick clouds. A heavenly thunder broke through the clouds with terrible destructive power and bombarded the bald man's head. Boom! The bald man couldn't dodge in time and was hit by the heavenly thunder that suddenly fell. He screamed in pain and died. He is dead. He was killed by the heavenly thunder. Not only the desperate, boorish man and the others were stunned by the scene in front of them, but the 4 ferocious men were also stunned by the sudden scene. Their minds went blank. Boom! Boom! A thunderbolt struck down, followed by a series of earth-shaking thunderous booms from the thick clouds. A large number of thunderbolts broke through the clouds and struck towards the 4 robbers, who were trying to dodge in panic, like dancing thunder flood dragons. Under the dense heavenly thunder, the 4 robbers couldn't dodge. They were hit by the heavenly thunder with amazing destructive power and fell painfully in a pool of blood. They died. Husband, did they do too many heartless things? Is the old master punishing them? Looking at the charred bodies of the 5 robbers, a petite but unusually plump girl with fair skin tightly grabbed the boorish man's arm and said with a pale face, "No, it should be that an expert passed by and saved us." Although the boorish man wasn't strong and was only a 3rd-level Xian Beast Grandmaster, he was very knowledgeable. He guessed that someone must have killed the 5 robbers and saved the lives of the 7 of them. "Senior, thank you for saving us. I wonder if you can show yourself and let Lu Meng thank you for saving our lives." The boorish man bowed deeply 3 times to the clouds in the sky and said gratefully, "Lu Meng? Rogue?" Yi Chen-feng, who was hiding in the clouds, smiled faintly when he heard the boorish man's name. His body flashed slightly, broke through the thick clouds, and landed in front of Lu Meng. So young. Looking at the young and handsome face that Yi Chen-feng created with the illusion Dao intent, Lu Meng was surprised. He didn't think that the person who helped them would be so young. However, to be able to hide in the clouds, it was enough to show that Yi Chen-feng's strength had reached the reverse Beast King realm, and his background wasn't simple. Lu Meng didn't dare to slight Yi Chen-feng. He immediately led the 6 beautiful family members to bow and thank Yi Chen-feng for saving their lives. "It's nothing." Yi Chen-feng smiled faintly and said, "Lu Meng, I heard you say that you're going out to sea." "Yes, senior. Are you going out to sea too?" Lu Meng's eyes lit up with surprise and joy. In the battle just now, all the guards he hired were dead. He was worried about not having any guards. If he could go with Yi Chen-feng, with Yi Chen-feng's ability to summon heavenly thunder, it would be enough to deal with the troubles on the North Sea. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, "Yes, I have nothing to do, and I just happen to want to go out to sea to gain experience. If you have nothing to do, senior, you can come with us to the Immortal Island. A grand overseas auction will be held there soon. Perhaps you can get some unexpected gains through the auction." Lu Meng invited sincerely. The Immortal Island overseas auction. Yi Chen-feng's heart skipped a beat. He said calmly, "Okay, I'll go with you to the Immortal Island to see what treasures will appear in the overseas auction." 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record.
You can see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 705. Early in the morning, a red sun slowly rose above the rippling sea. Large amounts of golden light flickered on the surface of the sea. It was a spectacular sight. 77777766767474772E636F6D. I wonder if there will be any life spiritual items appearing in the Immortal Island auction. Yi Chenfeng, who had successfully set sail, stood on the deck of the ship. He faced the ice-cold sea breeze and looked at the boundless sea in the distance as he muttered to himself. Although he had successfully stopped the marriage alliance between the Yu clan and the Eastern Sea Palace and fought his way out of the encirclement, he had also used up 5,000 years of his lifespan. If he couldn't recover his lifespan as soon as possible, it might affect his breakthrough to the Beast Emperor realm. Young Master Feng, you woke up so early. Seeing Yi Chenfeng standing at the bow of the ship with a beautiful girl with a slightly red face in his arms, Lu Meng walked over with sleepy eyes and greeted him respectfully. Because Yi Chenfeng did not want to have too much to do with Lu Meng, he told him that his name was Feng Chun and that he was a disciple of the Northern Continent's hermit family. Lu Meng, how far are we from the Immortal Island? Yi Chenfeng nodded and asked faintly. The Immortal Island is quite far from the Northern Spirit region. I estimate that we will need around 8 days to reach there. Lu Meng took out a navigation map and said after looking at it, "Call me when we reach the Immortal Island. I will go and cultivate." Yi Chenfeng nodded and turned to return to the cabin to cultivate. Wait for young Master Feng. When Yi Chenfeng turned to leave, Lu Meng immediately called out to him. What, is there something? Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly and asked Lu Meng's rough face. This time, the 7 of us were able to escape from the evil people's evil hands and set sail smoothly. It was all thanks to young Master Feng's help. In order to thank young Master Feng for saving our lives, I will give this secret technique passed down in my family to young Master. Lu Meng took out a white jade box from his yin and yang ring and gave it to Yi Chenfeng. Secret technique. Yi Chenfeng knew the value of the secret technique and raised his eyebrows slightly. All right, then I won't hold back. Yi Chenfeng took the white jade brocade box from Lu Meng and turned to leave. He returned to the luxuriously decorated cabin that was filled with the faint scent of orchid. 65282682531457335828319946771059710721797849711001. Could this be a secret technique? Yi Chenfeng set up dozens of formation patterns and restricted the cabin. He opened the white jade brocade box and discovered that there was an inch-long jade slip in the brocade box. He released his soul force into the jade slip and quickly browsed through it. Then, Yi Chenfeng showed a strange expression. 36 forms of acacia. After learning that the secret technique that Lu Meng gave him was actually a dual cultivation secret technique, Yi Chenfeng was somewhat speechless. However, he carefully browsed through the 36 forms of acacia and found that these 30 strange postures were indeed somewhat mysterious and were greatly beneficial to cultivation. He decided to keep it and stored it in the universe mirror. He planned to study it with Unique Hang when he married her in the future. I wonder what treasures are in Shou Li Yun's universe ring. Then, Yi Chenfeng took out the purple gold universe ring that he obtained from killing Shou Li Yun. He released his soul force and penetrated it, breaking the restriction and taking out Shou Li Yun's belongings one by one. Over 10 billion mid-soul crystals, over 500 million high-soul crystals, over 80,000 extreme soul crystals, and 3 low heaven crystals. Yi Chenfeng first counted Shou Li Yun's wealth and revealed a satisfied smile. With 3 low heaven crystals and 80,000 extreme soul crystals, the sword puppet could attack for a long time. Mid-Dao technique, 1,000 beast tied, secret technique of beast taming. Yi Chenfeng then checked the inheritance left behind by Shou Li Yun. He was slightly interested in the art of beast taming and decided to look for an opportunity to study it.
12 pseudo-Dao cores, 52 extreme heaven-class soul cores, 108 extreme heaven-class spiritual herbs. This cosmos ring is filled with heavenly beast cores and heavenly beast blood essences. At the end of the inspection, Yi Chenfeng found another ring in Shou Liyun's universe ring. He sent his soul force into it and found that it was filled with heavenly beast cores and blood essence. This Shou Liyun is indeed worthy of being the sect master of the myriad beast mountain. His belongings are really plentiful. I wonder if Hun Dun and Jin Xing Dragon Bloodline would be so excited after seeing so many heavenly beast cores. Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile and kept most of Shou Liyun's belongings into the universe mirror. He then sent the space devourer insect and spiritual fish out from the universe mirror. Spiritual fish, here are 57 heaven-class spiritual herbs, 2 pseudo-Dao cores, and 20 top-grade heaven-class soul cores for you. I hope you can break through to level 1 Beast Emperor soon. Yi Chenfeng generously gave a large amount of heaven-ranked spirit grasses and spirit pills to the Ling Yu. Once the Ling Yu broke through to become a rank 1 combat Beast Emperor, her strength would undergo an earth-shattering change, and she would become a powerful helper. Thank you, Brother Chenfeng. Looking at the elixirs and spiritual herbs that Yi Chenfeng gave her, spiritual fish's eyes curved into a crescent shape, revealing 2 cute dimples, as she said sweetly. Space devourer insect, these heavenly beast blood essences are for you. Yi Chenfeng was not stingy and gave almost all of the heavenly beast blood essences to the space devourer insect that was of great help to him. Thank you, Master. Looking at the large amount of heavenly beast blood essences in front of him, the space devourer insect's round eyes shone brightly. He opened his round mouth that was full of sharp teeth and swallowed all of the heavenly beast blood essences into his stomach. All right, spiritual fish, space devourer insect, return to the heaven and earth mirror to cultivate. I hope you can break through to the next realm as soon as possible. After saying that, Yi Chenfeng controlled the heaven and earth mirror and kept them inside. Phew! Yi Chenfeng sat cross-legged in the cabin and adjusted his breath for a while. He then took out the heavenly demon rope and controlled the God-Eater brain to continue studying this Dao skill that was of great help to him. After an unknown amount of time had passed, just as Yi Chenfeng had entered a meditative state and was immersed in cultivating the demonic demon rope, a series of hurried knocks suddenly rang out, waking him up from his cultivation state. I am cultivating. Don't disturb me if there is nothing. Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly and said coldly, Young Master Feng, I have something to ask of you. Please open the door. A timid and shy voice sounded from outside the room. Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly. After hesitating for a while, he dispelled the restriction in the room and opened the door. What do you want from me? After opening the door, Yi Chenfeng showed a hint of surprise. He found that Lu Mang's most beautiful concubine was standing in front of him in a pink tulle nightgown, looking at him affectionately. Because the clothes on her body were too thin, large areas of her milk-like, creamy skin were exposed. Her plump jade peaks were completely unrestrained, rising high up. A faint fragrance constantly entered his nose, stirring up his emotions. Young Master Feng, my husband asked me to come over and teach you the 36 forms of acacia. I know many postures. The Tulle woman looked at Yi Chenfeng's handsome face with hazy eyes and said coquettishly. Yi Chenfeng looked at the Tulle woman's blushing face, shook his head, and tactfully refused. I appreciate Brother Lu Mang's good intentions, but I don't want to cultivate that secret technique at the moment. Miss, please go back. Young Master Feng, do you dislike me for being dirty? Hearing Yi Chenfeng's refusal, the Tulle woman's face turned pale. She tightly bit her lips and said faintly, No, I have a wife. I think that secret technique should be cultivated with my wife. I am not used to cultivating it with an outsider. Yi Chenfeng sighed softly in his heart and explained, But if I go back like this, my husband will punish me. The Tulle woman said with teary eyes, Don't worry. If he punishes you, I will settle accounts with him. Yi Chenfeng said with some helplessness, All right, miss, you can go back. I'm going to cultivate.
After saying this, under the tool woman's resentful gaze, Yi Chun-feng closed the door, got rid of distracting thoughts, and continued cultivating the demonic demon chains. 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 706. Days went by. 7777777726F6 Since Yi Chun-feng had rejected the veiled woman, Lu Meng did not allow his concubine to harass Yi Chun-feng anymore. Yi Chun-feng, who had a rare moment of peace, used his God-eater brain to deduce the heavenly demon ropes again and again. Gradually, he mastered this powerful Tao skill. Just as Yi Chun-feng was cultivating and deepening his understanding of the heavenly demon ropes, a loud vibration came from the ship, which awakened Yi Chun-feng from his cultivation. Young Master Feng, we're in trouble. Please help us. At this time, an anxious female voice sounded outside Yi Chun-feng's cabin. She was panicking and asking for help. Don't panic. Come with me to the deck. Yi Chun-feng opened the door and led Lu Meng's concubine to the deck. They saw dozens of giant octopuses surrounding the ship. They waved their tentacles, which were hundreds of meters long, and slammed the ship's hard hull. Under the attack of the giant octopuses, the ship shook violently. Deep cracks appeared all over the ship's hull. Level 5 heavenly beasts. Yi Chun-feng glanced at the giant octopuses, which were emitting a fierce aura. He found that they were all level 5 heavenly beasts. In the sea, they were comparable to level 4 defiant beast kings. Young Master Feng, I don't know if you can help us deal with these giant octopuses. If they continue attacking, our ship will sink. Lu Meng said anxiously as he looked at the dozens of blood-red eyes of the giant octopuses that were attacking in a frenzy. Don't panic. Leave them to me. Yi Chun-feng was looking for an opportunity to deepen his understanding of the heavenly demon ropes. These giant octopuses delivered themselves to him. Without thinking, he agreed. Whoosh! An ear-piercing sound rang out as Yi Chun-feng's figure flickered. He summoned the golden rock wings and flew above the violently tumbling sea. The soul power in his body quickly merged with the Tao of death as he attempted to condense the heavenly demon rope for the first time. Sensing the terrifying aura emanating from Yi Chun-feng's body, the giant octopus that was waving its tentacles and attacking with all its might smelled a thick scent of danger. It decisively gave up on attacking the cruise ship and controlled its tentacles that were covered in suction cups to wrap around Yi Chun-feng. Under the attack of hundreds of thick tentacles, Yi Chun-feng instantly lost the space to dodge. A large amount of suction force was released from the tentacles and attacked Yi Chun-feng. Husband, you said that young Master Feng would be fine. A tall, beautiful woman with heavy makeup on her face and a mature charm from head to toe saw Yi Chun-feng being swallowed by the octopus tentacles and immediately became nervous. It could be said that Yi Chun-feng was their only savior, their only hope. Once something happened to him, only death would await them. Don't worry. Young Master Feng can summon the heavenly thunder. He will definitely be able to repel these giant octopuses. Lu Meng spoke casually, but he was restless in his heart. He kept praying for Yi Chun-feng. Heavenly demon rope. Yi Chun-feng ignored the suction force from the tentacles and the attacks from the tentacles. He quickly condensed a heavenly demon rope that was as thick as a child's arm. It was pitch black and contained the Tao of death. It revolved around his body and attacked the octopus tentacles. Chi. Under the attack of the heavenly demon rope, the densely packed octopus tentacles were torn apart without any suspense. A large amount of blood and viscous liquid splashed out. The giant octopuses were in so much pain that they let out ear-piercing screams. Break! With a thought from Yi Chun-feng, the heavenly demon rope was like a black flood dragon. It directly pierced through the prison formed by hundreds of octopus tentacles. It wrapped around a giant octopus and strangled it to death.
Seeing their companion killed, these giant octopuses with an extremely strong desire to kill fell into a frenzy. They desperately waved their broken tentacles and attacked Yi Chenfeng. They wanted to tear him apart and devour his flesh and blood. Heavenly Demon Rope. A large number of giant octopuses attacked. Yi Chenfeng didn't dodge. He allowed the tentacles to attack his body with millions of pounds of force as he continued to condense the Heavenly Demon Rope. As Yi Chenfeng had just comprehended the Heavenly Demon Rope, he was still unfamiliar with it. His execution speed was very slow. However, every time he condensed a Heavenly Demon Rope, he could bind a giant octopus to death. Husband, what is young Master Feng doing? Seeing Yi Chenfeng flying in the air and slowly condensing the Heavenly Demon Rope, Lu Meng's beautiful wives all revealed astonished expressions and asked in puzzlement. This, young Master Feng, seems to be practicing, Lu Meng said with a bitter smile. However, his hanging heart was relieved. Yi Chenfeng dared to ignore the giant octopuses to practice. It was enough to show that he didn't care about these giant octopuses. Killing them was only a matter of time. As Yi Chenfeng condensed more and more Heavenly Demon Ghost ropes, his speed became faster and faster. Gradually, he was able to condense 2 Heavenly Demon Ghost ropes at a time, which sped up the speed of killing the giant octopuses. After about an incense stick's worth of time, the several dozen giant octopuses had been completely slaughtered by Yi Chenfeng's sky demon ropes. A large amount of blood seeped into the surging waves of the sea, dyeing the blue seawater blood red. Collect. After killing dozens of giant octopuses, Yi Chenfeng immediately released thousands of soul strands into the sea that was dyed red with blood. He collected dozens of monster cores and put more than 10 complete monster hearts into the universe mirror, giving them to the space swallower to devour. Let's go. Let's continue sailing. Yi Chenfeng's body flashed and appeared on the deck. He said with a relaxed expression, Young Master Feng, what realm are you at? Seeing Yi Chenfeng's shocking strength and means, Lu Meng asked with a face full of admiration. As for his 6 concubines, the way they looked at Yi Chenfeng had also changed greatly. There were even a few bold and unrestrained women who secretly threw flirtatious glances at the delicate and handsome Yi Chenfeng. Reverse Beast King Realm, Yi Chenfeng said vaguely. He didn't tell Lu Meng his real realm. Seeing that Yi Chenfeng didn't want to say more, Lu Meng didn't continue to ask. Young Master Feng, according to the current speed, it will take 3 days to reach the Immortal Island. If young Master Feng is bored at night, I can ask my concubines to serve young Master Feng well and give you some fun. Lu Meng said generously with a dubious smile. Thank you for your kindness, but I need to cultivate. I don't need them to serve me. This was the first time Yi Chenfeng met such a generous person. However, Yi Chenfeng wasn't interested in her 6 gorgeously dressed concubines. He shook his head and tactfully refused. Young Master Feng, you really don't want to think about it? They are all proficient in the 36 forms of Acacia. I guarantee that you will feel like an immortal. In order to get closer to Yi Chenfeng, Lu Meng lowered his voice to a whisper and transmitted it into Yi Chenfeng's ears as he continued to encourage him. No need. Yi Chenfeng shook his head and said, Okay, I'm going back to my room to cultivate. If you encounter any danger, just call me. After Yi Chenfeng finished speaking, he turned around and left the deck under the disappointed gazes of the many pretty girls. He returned to the cabin and continued to practice the demonic heavenly demon ropes with the insights he gained from the battle earlier. Under Yi Chenfeng's protection, Lu Meng's ship moved forward rapidly. After about 10 days of sailing, they finally arrived at the sea area of the Immortal Island. From afar, they saw the Immortal Island surrounded by sea fog. 30/30709 mobile reading site. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 707. We have finally arrived at the Immortal Island. I hope that this auction will not disappoint me. #Yen. Yi Chenfeng stood on the deck and looked into the distance.
He saw that the immortal island was like an inland land. He couldn't see the end of the island. A large number of mountains stood on the island like coiling dragons. Between the interconnected mountains, several prosperous cities appeared. Young Master Feng, this immortal island is a paradise for us men. I guarantee that once you arrive on the island, you will be so happy that you will forget about home. Lu Meng, who was wearing gorgeous clothes and looked like a rich man, walked to Yi Chenfeng's side. He narrowed his eyes and revealed an ambiguous smile that only men could understand as he whispered, Lu Meng, who built this immortal island? To be able to build such a large island in the North Sea and attract experts from various continents to participate in the auction, it was enough to show that the background of this immortal island was not simple. I also don't know the true identity of the immortal island's owner. However, I heard that this person possesses remarkable abilities and is incomparably powerful. Even ordinary holy lands are not willing to provoke this person. Lu Meng told Yi Chenfeng everything he knew. Could it be that this immortal island is a hidden chess piece left by a great power in the North Sea? Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself as he guessed in his heart. Sailing into the immortal island sea area, Yi Chenfeng occasionally encountered huge ships sailing towards the immortal island. Yi Chenfeng even discovered the East Sea Palace and the 9 Nether Mountains ships at the immortal island's harbor. He immediately became alert. Even the East Sea Palace and the 9 Nether Mountain from the eastern continent have sent people here. It seems like a great treasure will appear in this auction. Otherwise, these 2 holy lands would not send people here. Yi Chenfeng muttered to himself. He was very interested in the immortal island's auction this time. Let's go to the island. The ship slowly sailed into the harbor. Lu Meng held a dark golden invitation letter with a red cloud pattern on it. He walked down the ship and handed it over to the immortal island's guard at the harbor entrance. Without an invitation from the immortal island, ordinary people would not be able to enter the immortal island. On the other hand, Lu Meng had an invitation from the immortal island, and he also had 6 obedient and beautiful wives, which showed that he also had an extraordinary background. Following Lu Meng, Yi Chenfeng and his group followed an ancient road paved with cobblestones and slowly walked towards the center of the immortal island, the Drunken Dream City. It's so lively. What a big show. Yi Chenfeng walked into Dream Drunken City, which had a variety of architectural styles, pavilions, courtyards, and fiery red ancient trees. Yi Chenfeng found that there were all kinds of buildings here. There were shops, medicine shops, inns, restaurants, martial arenas, and many brothels. Although it was daytime, there were still a number of flirtatious women in revealing clothes shuttling back and forth between the brothels and the streets, casting flirtatious glances at the passing cultivators, attracting their attention and stirring their hearts. The 6 of you go to the inn in front to stay. I'll take young Master Feng around the immortal island. Lu Meng pointed to a very large and quiet inn in front of them. It was located in a garden and was decorated with large red lanterns. It was a very quiet inn and gave an irresistible order. Yes, husband. The 6 beautiful women obeyed Lu Meng's words and obediently left together. Young Master Feng, do you want to go to the brothel to play or the restaurant to sit? Lu Meng intimately hugged Yi Chenfeng's shoulder and asked enthusiastically, let's go to the martial arena in front to take a look. Walking into Dream Drunken City, Yi Chenfeng felt that this place was not simple. He wanted to secretly inquire about it, so he suggested, okay, then let's go to the martial arena. Lu Meng happily agreed and brought Yi Chenfeng to the ring-shaped martial arena that was not far away. It was emitting a strong, murderous aura. As soon as he walked into the martial arena, Yi Chenfeng clearly felt that there was a kind of aura in the air that could make people go crazy. The blood in his body was slightly boiling. Thousands of spectators surrounded a square martial arena that was about 1 mu in size and had a lot of blood stains left on it. Looking at the 2 people in the arena who were not giving way to each other and fighting fiercely, the spectators in the stands screamed and shouted at the top of their lungs, falling into a frenzy. Young Master Feng, how do you feel here? Is all the blood in your body? Lu Meng squinted his eyes and asked. Obviously, he enjoyed the exciting atmosphere here. Well, it's not bad.
Yi Chenfeng nodded and found 2 empty seats with Lu Meng. He released the soul in his mind and covered the entire martial arena to collect some important information. Suddenly a scream rang out. A burly middle-aged man with thick hair and a sharp spear in his hand had his arm chopped off by his opponent, causing him to howl in pain. Just as he was about to open his mouth and admit defeat, his opponent, a tall and straight man with white hair and an expressionless face, suddenly attacked. The heavenly saber in his hand slashed vertically and chopped off his opponent's head. A large amount of blood spurted out like a fountain, instantly dyeing the blood-stained arena red. Looking at the bloody scene in front of them, a few charming young women sitting in the front row not only did not reveal a frightened expression, but instead shouted out in excitement. Among them, there were even bold and fierce women who took off their reserved outer clothes and waved the provocative belly band in their hands, cheering for the victors, causing waves of screams. Sigh, it seems like it's not going to work if I want to get some valuable information here. Yi Chenfeng patiently collected information in the noisy martial arena for several hours, but he did not obtain any valuable information, so he gave up helplessly. At this time, the sky gradually darkened. Under Lu Meng's suggestion, the two of them ate a simple meal and went to the busiest restaurant in Dream-Drunken City. Walking into the restaurant, Yi Chenfeng found that he seemed to have come to a new world. Passionate and exciting music, fragrant wine, and scantily clad beauties constantly stirred up the nerves of the cultivators present, causing them to be fascinated and crazy. In the empty space of the restaurant, many beautiful maids wearing thin short skirts, revealing their fair skin and slender legs, shuttled back and forth, serving the most delicious wine to the cultivators. While shuttling back and forth, there were constantly people reaching out to harass them, but they were already used to it. Not only were they not angry, but they responded with charming smiles. "How is it, young Master Phone? I didn't lie to you, right? This dream-drunken city is definitely a man's paradise." Lu Meng's eyes flickered as he continued to search for prey, completely forgetting about his 6 beautiful wives. "Not bad." Yi Chenfeng nodded, and the soul in his mind was once again released. Suddenly, his acute perception noticed a trace of abnormality, and when he looked over, he saw a woman in a tight black dress with dark violet hair casually draped on her shoulders. She wore light makeup on her face, and she was seductive yet didn't lose her spirit. She was elegantly drinking wine that was like fresh blood. Due to her aura being too strong like a queen, many people were secretly sizing her up, yet no one dared approach her. But she who was drinking wine in silence had undoubtedly become the center of attention. "Lu Meng, I have something to do. You play by yourself." As soon as he finished speaking, Yi Chenfeng controlled the illusory Dao insight to slightly change his appearance, and he took even steps as he slowly walked towards the seductive woman that was like poison and emitted boundless charm, and he arrived before her. 30/30709 reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record, and you'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 708. The seductive woman, who was drinking alone, frowned slightly. She slowly raised her blurry eyes. When she saw Yi Chenfeng's handsome face, his eyes that were as deep as the ocean, and the sharp aura he emitted, her red lips that were stained with wine revealed an enchanting smile. "Do you mind if I sit down?" Yi Chenfeng asked in a gentle and refined manner as he looked at her charming face. He revealed a faint smile as he asked in a scholarly manner, "What, do you want to hit on me?" The seductive woman's mouth slightly raised, revealing a beautiful arc. She looked at Yi Chenfeng with blurry eyes and put down the wine cup in her hand and asked, "Just chatting." Yi Chenfeng sat opposite the seductive woman and revealed a faint smile as he said, "You don't mean what you say." The seductive woman glanced at Yi Chenfeng charmingly and said in a seductive voice, "Since you've sat down, then drink with me. If you can make me happy, then perhaps all those little thoughts of yours can come true." "Okay, let's drink." After saying that, Yi Chenfeng ordered a large amount of wine and started drinking with the seductive woman, who looked like a seductive spirit. You came to the immortal island to participate in the auction, right? After drinking with Yi Chen-feng, the seductive woman's eyes became even more blurry. She gently swirled the wine in her cup and looked straight at Yi Chen-feng and said, Yi Chen-feng nodded and said, Miss should be from the immortal island. Why do you think I am from the immortal island? The seductive woman was startled and asked with a smile. A feeling, a man's sixth sense. Yi Chen-feng said, a man, you can only be considered a little man at best. The seductive woman looked at Yi Chen-feng's handsome face and said in a teasing manner. After saying that, she laughed. Her laughter was very beautiful, and a pair of majestic peaks rose up and down. This caused the man who was secretly watching her to stare and swallow his saliva. Do I look good? Catching Yi Chen-feng's gaze, the seductive woman did not hide it. She slightly raised her twin peaks and asked in a somewhat licentious manner. Nice. Yi Chen-feng nodded and said frankly, I found you to be a very interesting person. I'm starting to like you. Hearing Yi Chen-feng's reply, the seductive woman laughed like a blooming flower. Her licentious appearance caused Yi Chen-feng's imagination to run wild. Little man, I'll give you a chance to evaluate me. If your evaluation is good, Big Sister will reward you. The seductive woman said without hesitation. What reward? Yi Chen-feng gulped down the wine in his cup and said with interest. Wait until you make Big Sister happy, then I'll tell you. The seductive woman's lips were slightly red, and her cheeks were tender and beautiful as she spoke. Actually, miss, you're just like the wine in this cup. Yi Chen-feng gently lifted the wine cup and swirled it as he spoke. What do you mean? Take your time to savor it. The aftertaste is still there, Yi Chen-feng said with a smile. This is the first time I've heard such an interesting evaluation, but I like it. The seductive woman laughed and said. She took the wine cup in Yi Chen-feng's hand and drank it in one gulp. Let's go and have a seat at my place. The seductive woman, who was drunk and exuding a fatal charm from head to toe, slowly stood up and took Yi Chen-feng's hand as she invited him. Okay. Yi Chen-feng revealed an ambiguous smile. Under the envious gazes of the crowd, he left with the seductive woman. Seeing that Yi Chen-feng had actually persuaded the most beautiful and sexiest woman present to leave with her, Lu Meng, who was in the middle of a passionate conversation with a pretty woman, was full of admiration. Little man, your strength is not bad. If Big Sister is not wrong, your strength should be at the 6th level of the Defiant Beast King realm. After leaving the noisy restaurant, the seductive woman's body was very close to Yi Chen-feng, as if she was going to hang on him. Her curvaceous body and plump bosom were constantly rubbing against Yi Chen-feng's arm. But compared to you, I think I'm still a little lacking. Yi Chen-feng seemed to enjoy the feeling of this soft and fragrant jade. Looking at the seductive woman's side profile, he said as they walked, You can feel my strength. The seductive woman looked at Yi Chen-feng with a smile, her big charming eyes shooting out a black light that was hard to detect. I told you, my sixth sense is very accurate. It's a man's sixth sense again. The seductive woman smiled charmingly and exhaled a fragrant breath of alcohol into Yi Chen-feng's ear. She said, Now feel it. What do you want to do when I take you to my place? Do what you want to do, and what I want to do too. Yi Chen-feng looked at the seductive woman's mesmerized eyes and said teasingly, Little man, you're really lovable. Big Sister will definitely love you dearly tonight. The seductive woman hugged Yi Chen-feng even tighter. The intoxicating fragrance kept entering Yi Chen-feng's nose, teasing all the cells in his body. Such a beautiful night, such a comfortable sea breeze. Why don't we go to the seaside? Feeling that the seductive woman was getting more and more interested in him, Yi Chen-feng suddenly suggested. The seaside. The seductive woman licked her rosy lips and said with mesmerized eyes, I didn't expect you to have so many tricks. Let's go to the seaside. The night was getting darker. The surging waves of the sea were higher than the previous one, crashing against the reefs on the shore and splashing up endless water. Little man, I think this place is good. Let's take a rest under that rock. Stepping on the soft beach, The drunk, seductive woman pointed at a huge rock in front of them and said, "Okay." Yi Chunfeng nodded and released his spiritual perception. He did not discover any auras of living beings. So he nodded. "Little man, which continent do you come from? With such a vigorous life force in your body and the strength of a level 6 Beast King, your identity should not be simple." Sitting on the shore, the seductive woman's whole body was completely attached to Yi Chunfeng. Her charming and slightly drunk eyes and the intoxicating charm of her body made her full of temptation. "I come from the East Sea Palace," Yi Chunfeng said deliberately. "East Sea Palace. You come from the number 1 force in the Eastern continent." The seductive woman's eyes lit up, and she couldn't help licking her lips as if she wanted to eat Yi Chunfeng. "What? Does my Eastern Sea Palace have any enmity with your immortal island?" Yi Chunfeng looked at the divine light shining from the seductive woman's eyes and slowly asked, Your East Sea Palace is the owner of my immortal island. We can't wait to curry favor with you. How can we have a grudge against you?" The seductive woman said charmingly. "Is that true?" Yi Chunfeng asked with a face full of doubt. Through the seductive woman's words, Yi Chunfeng was sure that she was from the immortal island, but he couldn't be sure whether the immortal island and the East Sea Palace had an unclear relationship. "Sister will soon let you know how warm we are to the people of the East Sea Palace." Saying this, the seductive woman reached out to grab Yi Chunfeng's shoulder and wanted to press him down on the beach. "Miss, what are you doing?" Yi Chunfeng suddenly grabbed the seductive woman's smooth hand and said in a cold voice, "What do you think I'm doing?" The seductive woman licked her red lips and said, "You made Sister very happy tonight. Sister naturally wants to reward you. Don't you want something to happen between us?" "Miss, you seem to be mistaken. I just want to chat with you. I don't want anything to happen between us." Yi Chunfeng refused. The seductive woman frowned slightly and said in a strange tone, "You've aroused Sister's emotions, but you only want to chat." "Yes, I've said it from the beginning. I just want to chat with you." Yi Chunfeng nodded and said to the seductive woman's slightly angry eyes, "Little man, are you playing with me?" The seductive woman looked at Yi Chunfeng's serious expression, and her eyes revealed a fierce look. Strands of black, demonic silk spread out from her voluptuous and hot body. "If you think so, I can't do anything about it. However, I really won't have anything to do with the people of the demon race." Yi Chunfeng revealed a faint smile and said in a shocking tone, "P.S. Book Group 836225554, WeChat public number, YLTY83. There are characters from all over the world in it. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support." Chapter 709, 22438111. Who the hell are you? Hearing Yi Chunfeng reveal her identity, the blurred look in the seductive woman's eyes instantly disappeared and was replaced by an awe-inspiring sharpness. Dollar, underscore, 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 little underscore, 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 underscore. It doesn't matter who I am. What's important is that I didn't expect the devil race to be behind this immortal island. The God-Eater brain had devoured the soul of Devil Sage Cold Night, and Yi Chunfeng had his Tao spirit. So Yi Chunfeng was very sensitive to the devil race. When he saw the seductive woman for the first time, he noticed the devil chi hidden in her body. This was also the reason why Yi Chunfeng took the initiative to approach her and lure her out. Yi Chunfeng wanted to find out the origin of this immortal island through her, and even more, he wanted to know what the devil race was planning to build this immortal island. "It seems that you deliberately lured me here," the seductive woman said gloomily, but there was no trace of panic in her heart. She believed that with her strength, she could kill Yi Chunfeng effortlessly. "Do you really think I'm interested in you?" Yi Chunfeng smiled slightly, looking at the seductive woman's increasingly gloomy face, and said playfully, "Boy, I swear I'll pull out your tongue and make you beg for death." The seductive woman was completely enraged. Billowing devil chi emanated from her hot body, tearing the cold sea breeze and oppressing Yi Chen-feng. Fiend God bloodline ignition, fiend God body. Yi Chen-feng was afraid of alerting the experts on the island, so he instantly merged with the two-headed blood dragon king and transformed into a fiend god. He raised his strength to the limit and shattered the demonic aura released by the seductive woman. Then, he threw a punch at her. Boom! A thunderous sound rang out on the beach. The punch, with nearly 40 million pounds of force, smashed the seductive woman's attack like crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood, and the punch blasted towards her towering chest. Not good. The seductive woman did not expect Yi Chen-feng to be so terrifying after transforming. She quickly summoned a rugged iron sheet to block in front of her, blocking Yi Chen-feng's destructive punch. A Taoist treasure fragment. When Yi Chen-feng felt the power coming from the iron sheet, he was immediately sure that it was a high-quality fragment of a Taoist treasure. He decisively summoned the vermilion bird cauldron to suppress the seductive woman. A Tao treasure. As soon as the vermilion bird furnace appeared, the seductive woman paled. She discovered that she had greatly underestimated Yi Chen-feng. Yi Chen-feng's hidden strength and methods had far surpassed her imagination. 3 absolutes of water. Phantom, shark, water shadow. Crazy character. Just as the seductive woman was being attacked by the vermilion bird cauldron, Yi Chen-feng quickly used the #1 martial art of the EC Palace. Billowing soul power and Tao intent fused together, transforming into a ferocious shark that swayed in the void, tearing through the air as it bombarded her. True demonic seal. As the water phantom shark attacked, the seductive woman quickly twisted her hands and instantly condensed a blood-red demonic seal to resist the water phantom shark. After the attack was blocked, Yi Chen-feng spat a mouthful of blood into the vermilion bird cauldron, increasing the suppression power of the vermilion bird cauldron. He continuously used the 3 absolutes of water to aggravate her injuries. My immortal island and your EC Palace have always minded their own business. Why do you want to scheme against me? Unable to resist Yi Chen-feng's fierce attacks, the seductive woman quickly summoned a quasi-Taoist treasure-level black scissors to resist the suppression of the vermilion bird cauldron. She was angry out of humiliation and kept thinking of ways to escape. Since ancient times, humans and demons have never been on the same side. I don't know if it will cause a huge earthquake in the fighting spirit continent if I disclose the secret of the immortal island to the public. Yi Chen-feng said with a smile, continuing to control the vermilion bird cauldron to attack. The terrible suppression power completely suppressed the seductive woman, leaving her with no choice but to defend herself. True demon body. Unable to resist the attacks of the vermilion bird cauldron, the seductive woman used her final trump card. Her fiery body quickly swelled up, tearing apart her tight-fitting dress, revealing a very muscular body covered in black scales. Human, go to hell. After transforming into the true demon body, the seductive woman's strength increased greatly. She madly injected demonic power into the black scissors, resisting the black scissors, and launched a fatal counterattack at Yi Chen-feng. Emperor Heaven Sword. Emperor Heaven Sword technique. When the seductive woman attacked with surging demonic aura, the mid-grade Tao artifact, Emperor Heaven Sword, appeared in Yi Chen-feng's hand. A divine sword that was filled with Emperor's Qi slashed down. The sword that was filled with the will of the great Tao and nearly 40 million kilograms of force tore apart the seductive woman's attack and ruthlessly slashed her demonic body. Qi. Large amounts of black blood spurted out. After receiving a fatal blow from the Emperor Heaven Sword, the seductive woman's right arm was chopped off, causing her to howl in pain. Scarlet Thunder Pearl. As the seductive woman howled in pain, Yi Chen-feng shot out the Scarlet Thunder Pearl again, shooting it into her mouth. It released an extremely destructive death thunder that penetrated her body and destroyed her internal organs. Large amounts of demonic blood spurted out uncontrollably from her body. Demonic escape. The seductive woman, whose life was hanging by a thread, burned her demonic blood without hesitation and wanted to use demonic escape to escape.
However, at this moment, the vermilion bird cauldron, which was releasing endless flames, pressed down on her heavily injured body and pressed her down on the soft beach, unable to move. Human, if I die, everyone in your East Sea Palace will die with me. Legend of the Great Desert. The seductive woman struggled with all her might and warned loudly. Do you think my East Sea Palace will be afraid of your immortal island? God-eater brain, soul search. Yi Chen-feng was unmoved. He pressed his right hand on the top of her head and used the power of the God-eater brain to search her soul. He wanted to find out the secret of the immortal island through her. Bang! However, just as the power of the God-eater brain seeped into her soul, it triggered the restriction in her soul. Following that, her soul sea exploded and she died on the spot. The moment the seductive woman's soul self-detonated, in a heavily guarded ancient courtyard on the immortal island, a man with fiery red hair and a muscular upper body was soaked in a pool of blood. His body was shrouded in devil chi. He suddenly opened his eyes. Something happened to Fei, who is so daring to kill my people on the immortal island. The red-haired man revealed a trace of anger and quickly left the blood pool. He put on his clothes and rushed to the beach where the seductive woman was killed with a few guards emitting dense killing intent. Soul restriction. Yi Chen-feng frowned slightly. He did not expect that there would be a restriction in the seductive woman's soul. It interrupted his soul search and made him fail at the last minute. After the soul search failed, Yi Chen-feng did not stay any longer. He took the black scissors, the fragments of the Taoist artifact, and the universal ring that she left behind and quickly left. Not long after Yi Chen-feng left, the red-haired man with a murderous aura appeared on the beach, which was emitting a faint smell of blood. He saw the seductive woman's corpse. Demonic soul spell, soul gather. Then, he used the demonic soul spell unique to the devil clan, try to forcibly gather the seductive woman's soul that had not completely dispersed. However, Yi Chen-feng was already prepared. With the power of the God-eater brain, he had already erased the seductive woman's remnant soul. This made it impossible for him to gather the seductive woman's soul and obtain any valuable information. Don't let me find you. Otherwise, I will pull out your tendons, peel off your skin, and burn your bones to ashes. The red-haired man, who was burning with anger, gritted his teeth and said. The immortal island also became jittery because of the seductive woman's death. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 710. 2243811-2. 2 Tao artifact fragments, a quasi-Tao artifact, 2 low-grade heaven crystals, and so many soul crystals. Tonight's harvest is not bad. After killing the seductive woman, Yi Chen-feng did not return to Dream-Drunken City immediately. Instead, he went deep into a mountain range with complicated terrain beside Dream-Drunken City. He planned to wait until dawn and everything settled down before returning to Dream-Drunken City to meet up with Lu Meng. As for his figure and appearance, Yi Chen-feng was not afraid of exposing himself. Under the influence of the illusion Dao insight, those people in the restaurant were unable to recognize his true appearance at all. Moreover, Yi Chen-feng guessed that the people of the Devil Clan would not dare to search for him with great fanfare. After all, a large-scale search would have an extremely bad influence. It was very likely that it would affect the upcoming auction and affect their wealth. Vermilion Bird Cauldron, refine. With a thought, Yi Chen-feng summoned the Vermilion Bird Cauldron, swallowed the 2 precious Dao artifact fragments, and quickly refined them. Once the Vermilion Bird Cauldron fused with these 2 Dao artifact fragments, its power would increase greatly. After storing the Vermilion Bird Cauldron into his body, Yi Chen-feng controlled the God-eater brain to comprehend the 3 absolutes of water prohibition. He was prepared to use this set of high-grade Dao skill to frame the East Sea Palace at the appropriate time and stir up the situation even more. The night passed quickly. After a night of cultivation, Yi Chen-feng had a new understanding of the second move of the 3 absolutes of water prohibition
illusory, flood dragon water shadow. However, it would still take some time to completely master it. Stepping on the morning sun, Yi Chunfeng returned to dream-drunken city. He had just arrived at the inn where Lu Meng lived when he bumped into Lu Meng, whose neck was covered with kiss marks and had a satisfied smile on his face as he hummed a little tune. "Young Master Feng, you're back. How was last night? Was it fun?" Lu Meng saw Yi Chunfeng from afar, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He walked over quickly and asked in a flirtatious manner, "We just drank and chatted last night. We did nothing else." Looking at the horrible kiss marks on Lu Meng's neck, Yi Chunfeng said somewhat helplessly, "With my decades of experience in love, you can't hide this kind of thing from me." Lu Meng said as if he was an expert, "The kind of beauty, the kind of figure, the kind of charm, young Master Feng, tell me honestly, is that girl the type who grabs the railing and tears the bedsheets? Just thinking about it makes me F***king excited. Dollar underscore 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 small underscore 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 underscore." Yi Chunfeng was completely speechless at Lu Meng, whose head was filled with women. He had no choice but to change the topic. "Brother Lu Meng, I want to exchange something. Do you have any good recommendations?" "Of course," Lu Meng said. "There are still 3 days before the auction. At this time, the Immortal Island will organize some private trade fairs. However, it's a bit early. Let's find a place to eat before we go." "All right." Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Lu Meng to a restaurant with a booming business. He ordered a table of sumptuous delicacies and ate with relish. Crazy character. Around noon, Yi Chunfeng and Lu Meng left the restaurant and arrived at the west side of Mengzue City. They arrived at a magnificent pavilion filled with powerful restrictions. Lu Meng showed his invitation letter and easily led Yi Chunfeng into the Golden Pavilion. This is the largest private trade fair in Mengzue City. However, private trades are usually barter. There are very few people who bid to buy. Lu Meng introduced with familiarity. "Brother Lu Meng, you are very familiar with this immortal island." Yi Chunfeng asked with a deep meaning. "To be honest, I am in the maritime trade business, so I have some business dealings with this immortal island." Lu Meng said frankly and led Yi Chunfeng to an extremely luxurious trading hall. "Young Master Feng, what do you think of the girl at the door?" Lu Meng narrowed his small eyes and pointed at a tall, long-legged, snow-white-skinned woman wearing a white lotus root cheongsam. Her figure was curvaceous, and her every frown and smile was very charming. "Very good." Yi Chunfeng followed Lu Meng's finger and saw the beautiful cheongsam woman. He nodded and said, "The last time I was here, I spent 5 million mid-grade soul crystals on her for a night. Now that I think about it, I still remember that feeling." Lu Meng said with a wretched look. Yi Chunfeng, just as Lu Meng walked forward and wanted to continue flirting with the cheongsam woman, he suddenly saw a young woman wearing a pink dress. Her hair was full of hair, and her body was as thick as a bucket. Her neck was full of fat, and her eyes were very small. She was like a meat bun piled up on an armchair and was constantly stuffing grapes in her mouth. Lu Meng's eyes lit up, and he immediately went to greet her. "Young miss, long time no see. I didn't expect to see you here," Lu Meng said with a charming smile. "Yes, Lu Meng. We haven't seen each other for 4 years." The fat woman narrowed her small eyes and said. When she saw Yi Chunfeng behind Lu Meng, her small round eyes revealed a hint of a different meaning. "Lu Meng, who is he?" The fat woman stretched out her plump hand and pointed at Yi Chunfeng behind Lu Meng and asked with interest. "He is my friend, Feng Chen. He wanted to trade something in advance, so I brought him here." "Young Master Feng, this is the daughter of Immortal Island's owner, Zhen Mimi. She is in charge of this private trade fair." Lu Meng introduced them. Zhen Mimi. Hearing the fat woman's name, Yi Chunfeng was speechless. From head to toe, he couldn't find a trace of beauty in her. "What do you want to trade?" "I will trade with you." Zhen Mimi stuffed 3 grapes in her mouth and stared straight at Yi Chunfeng's handsome face as she asked, "I want to trade life spiritual items, fragments of Tao treasures, or some rare spiritual items of heaven and earth." Yi Chunfeng said all the things he wanted to trade. Legend of the Great Desert. The things you want to trade
are all valuable. What do you have to trade with me? Jinmimi spat out a few grape seeds and asked lazily. Supreme-grade heaven artifacts and heaven treasures. Yi Chunfeng took out the supreme-grade heaven spear that he obtained from killing Yu Zhongtian and the Snake Valley's treasure, the Snake Spear. I didn't expect you to have so many good things. Jinmimi said with some surprise. I don't have any life spiritual items, but I can trade out treasure fragments and spiritual items of heaven and earth with you. However, I want to add an additional condition. What condition? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and asked, Come to my place tonight and accompany me for a night. I will trade the Tao treasure fragments and 3 stalks of heaven-ranked spiritual herbs to you. Jinmimi said shamelessly. I can't agree to this condition of yours. Looking at Jinmimi's fat body and oily face, Yi Chunfeng was disgusted and rejected her without hesitation. Why? Are you looking down on me? Let me tell you, it is your fortune that this lady has taken a liking to you. Don't be so shameless. Jinmimi smashed the square table at the side with a slap and scolded arrogantly. Buzz. Just as Jinmimi finished speaking, a murderous aura of blood and bones poured out from Yi Chunfeng's body. He locked onto the shameless Jinmimi and said coldly, Don't force me to kill you. Otherwise, you will regret it. You. Jinmimi had never suffered such humiliation before. She suppressed the fear in her heart and was about to roar loudly. I don't like to repeat myself. If you don't believe me, you can try. I guarantee that you won't live to see the sun tomorrow. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with a murderous aura as he looked at Jinmimi's ugly face and said coldly. Looking at the murderous aura in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, Jinmimi had a feeling that he really dared to kill her. For a moment, she was shocked. All the insults were stuck in her throat, and she couldn't say anything. After shocking Jinmimi, Yi Chunfeng thought of the secret of the immortal island and forcibly resisted the urge to kill her. He didn't stay here for long and turned to leave. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 711. 224381113. Lu Meng, who is he? After Yi Chunfeng left, Jinmimi, who had a lot of cold sweat on her forehead, came back to her senses. She suddenly jumped up from the chair and said angrily out of humiliation, He's a friend that I'm not very familiar with. Lu Meng didn't expect such an unforeseen event even in his dreams, so he said with a guilty conscience, A friend that I'm not very familiar with. Jinmimi obviously didn't believe Lu Meng's words. She said coldly, I don't care what method you use. Before you leave the immortal island, you must get him on my bed. Otherwise, I won't be courteous to you. Miss, please calm down. I'll go and persuade him again. Lu Meng knew how powerful and domineering Jinmimi was. He used his sleeve to wipe the sweat on his forehead and left in a sorry state. No matter who you are, if you dare to offend me, I'll make you beg for death. Jinmimi's round eyes emitted a demonic light as she swore in her heart. Yi Chunfeng held back his killing intent and left the private trade fair. He didn't find a place to rest, nor did he take Jinmimi's threat to heart. He was going to stroll around a treasure pavilion in Mengzue City. As he walked, he unexpectedly saw 3 men wearing aqua-blue martial arts clothes embroidered with the word sea. People from the East Sea Palace. Looking at the 3 East Sea Palace experts in front of him, Yi Chunfeng hesitated for a moment before following them. He followed them to the center of Mengzue City, a very noisy treasure pavilion called the Treasure Sky Pavilion. When he walked into the Treasure Sky Pavilion, a woman wearing a tight black cheongsam walked over with a burst of fragrance. She was like a peach and had a mature charm. She said very enthusiastically, Young master, may I know what you want to buy? Let me take a look at your treasure. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the 3 East Sea Palace experts who were accompanied by beautiful women and said in a rich and overbearing manner, All right, young master, please follow me. The woman in the cheongsam put on a charming smile. She swayed her sexy waist and brought Yi Chunfeng to a small house that was separated by an antique fence. She poured him a cup of tea that was emitting wisps of spiritual energy and handed him a jade chip. My treasure heaven pavilion has a total of 10 ultimate treasures. But besides needing to pay a certain amount of mid-grade soul crystals, these 10 treasures must be exchanged with treasures. The Cheongsam woman gracefully sat opposite Yi Chenfeng, crossed her slender legs, and said in a relaxed manner, "All right." Yi Chenfeng wasn't surprised by these transaction rules, and he nodded before releasing his soul force to permeate into the jade slip before looking through the 10 ultimate treasures of the Treasure Heaven Pavilion. However, most of these 10 treasures were high-grade heaven artifacts, and there were even 2 sets of low-grade Dao skills, but to Yi Chenfeng, they were not attractive at all. Instead, one of the earthwood Dao fruits aroused Yi Chenfeng's interest. Crazy character. I wonder what the price of this earthwood Dao fruit is? Even though Yi Chenfeng was clearly aware that the Dao insight contained within this Dao fruit was extremely shallow and at most contained a few Dao markings, he still decided to purchase it if the price was suitable. This earthwood Dao fruit was purchased by my Treasure Heaven Pavilion at a great price. If young master wants to buy it, then besides paying 100 million mid-grade soul crystals, you need to take out a treasure of similar value to exchange for it. The woman in the Cheongsam spoke gracefully. I wonder if this high-grade heaven artifact and 100 million mid-grade soul crystals can be exchanged for this earthwood Dao fruit. Yi Chenfeng took out a useless high-grade heaven artifact and asked, "Young master, wait a moment. I need to appraise this high-grade heaven artifact of yours first," the woman in the Cheongsam said in a light voice. "Sure." Yi Chenfeng passed the high-grade heaven artifact to the woman in the Cheongsam and drank spirit tea as he waited. "Young master, the quality of this high-grade heaven artifact is extremely high, and it can be used to exchange for this earthwood Dao fruit." After carefully appraising the high-grade heaven artifact, the woman in the Cheongsam revealed a satisfied smile and spoke softly. "All right, here are 100 million mid-grade soul crystals." Yi Chenfeng nodded and took out a universe ring with 100 million mid-grade soul crystals and handed it to the woman in the Cheongsam to use to purchase the earthwood Dao fruit. "Wait, who allowed you to sell the earthwood Dao fruit to him?" Right at this moment, an arrogant and overbearing voice sounded out within the clamorous Treasure Heaven Pavilion. Zhen Mimi, who had a plump figure that was like a meat bun, brought along 2 experts from the Immortal Island as they appeared in the Treasure Heaven Pavilion in a threatening manner. "Young miss." Seeing Zhen Mimi appear, the woman in the Cheongsam didn't dare to be negligent. She immediately stood up and bowed respectfully. "Bitch, get out of my way." Zhen Mimi scolded mercilessly. She raised her fat head and brought the 2 Immortal Island experts to Yi Chenfeng with her head held high. "After offending me, you still want to buy things from Immortal Island?" Zhen Mimi narrowed her small round eyes and said arrogantly and overbearingly, "What big words? Could it be that your Immortal Island invited us here, and you treat us with such an attitude?" Although Yi Chenfeng didn't want to cause trouble before the auction started, it didn't mean that he would swallow his anger. Looking at the aggressive Zhen Mimi, Yi Chenfeng's heart was filled with dense killing intent. "Kid, you don't have to provoke others. If you don't give me a satisfactory answer today, I won't let you go." Zhen Mimi, who had something to rely on, ignored the surrounding crowd and said rudely. Just when Yi Chenfeng couldn't help but want to make a move, he suddenly noticed that 3 EC Palace experts had appeared in the crowd and were looking at him mockingly. Immediately, a plan came to his mind. "The 3 of you, this ugly bastard is bullying me. Can you help me?" Yi Chenfeng appeared in front of one of the East Sea Palace experts with a stride. Before he could refuse, 50 illusion Dao insights shot out from his eyes and penetrated into his eyes, causing a large number of illusions to appear in front of him and confuse his soul consciousness. Record of Chaos, special ability. Go, teach her a lesson for me. With the help of the 5th heaven of the illusion Dao insights, Yi Chenfeng temporarily controlled this level 4 defiant Beast King expert of the EC Palace. He gave him an order that didn't allow him to refuse. Upon receiving Yi Chenfeng's order,
This East Sea Palace expert, whose mind was being controlled, rushed out without hesitation. He raised his right hand and slapped Jean Mimi's chubby face. Slap! The crisp sound of a slap rang out, and a fiery palm print appeared on Jean Mimi's chubby face. Then, he used Black Tiger Steel's heart and grabbed Jean Mimi's dangling peaks. The immense force from his fingertips caused Jean Mimi's eyes to almost pop out of their sockets. Seeing the scene before them, everyone was dumbfounded. Go, both of you, teach her a lesson. Just as everyone was dumbfounded, Yi Qinfeng's deep eyes continuously shot out illusions of the will of the way, forcefully confusing the other two East Sea Palace cultivators and ordering them to attack Jean Mimi together. Stop, both of you stop. The two guards who came back to their senses saw Jean Mimi's peaks being grabbed and wailing in pain. They roared angrily and immediately attacked, fighting with the three East Sea Palace experts. Instantly, the entire Treasure Heaven Pavilion fell into chaos. At this moment, Yi Qinfeng appeared in front of the pale Chongsam woman in a flash. He controlled the illusion Dao insights to penetrate her eyes and forcefully control her mind. Give me the earthwood Dao fruit. Yi Qinfeng ordered without any room for objection. The Chongsam woman wasn't a member of the devil race, and her strength wasn't strong, so she was utterly unable to resist the corrosion of the illusion Dao insight. She obediently headed to the rear hall and obtained the extremely precious earthwood Dao fruit for Yi Qinfeng. Meanwhile, the three East Sea Palace experts had already been knocked to the ground by Jean Mimi's guards. But amidst the chaos, they'd already asked for help from the East Sea Palace, and a few East Sea Palace experts were on the way. When he saw the situation becoming more and more chaotic, Yi Qinfeng, who'd smoothly obtained the earthwood Dao fruit, didn't stay for long. He moved back and forth in the clamorous crowd, and in next to no time, he left the Treasure Heaven Pavilion and vanished in the crowded streets. Reading site, book address. For the sake of convenience for your next reading, you can click Collect at the bottom to record this reading record, and you'll be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 712. 22443555. Immortal Island. East Sea Palace. Should I make the situation more chaotic? After taking advantage of the chaos to leave the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, Yi Qinfeng didn't look for a place to rest, but instead controlled the illusory Dao insight to change his appearance at a deserted corner before heading towards the largest group of buildings in Dreamwine City that wasn't too far away from the Heavenly Treasure Pavilion, the Immortal Isle Auction Hall. Our Immortal Island Auction Hall isn't open to the public yet. Please come back 3 days later. An expressionless Level 1 Beast King guard stopped Yi Qinfeng and said emotionlessly. He was wearing black armor and holding a sharp robe in his hand. I'm here to sell a treasure for the auction in 3 days. Yi Qinfeng deliberately said in a hoarse voice so that no one could hear his real voice. Selling a treasure. Our Immortal Island Auction Hall doesn't accept ordinary treasures. At this time, an old man with white sideburns and an abnormally tall and sturdy figure wearing a black martial arts suit walked out of the auction hall. He sized up Yi Qinfeng a few times and said in a low voice, I wonder if you accept high-grade Dao skills? Yi Qinfeng placed his hands behind his back as he looked at the old man with the demonic qi hidden in his body. He was neither arrogant nor servile. High-grade Dao skills. The old man's eyes lit up and a trace of surprise appeared on his calm face. He looked at Yi Qinfeng with some suspicion and said, You want to auction a high-grade Dao skill? That's right. Yi Qinfeng nodded and said calmly, Please follow me. After confirming that Yi Qinfeng really wanted to sell a high-grade Dao skill, the old man led him into the auction hall that was abnormally heavily guarded and shrouded in a powerful restriction. What a big deal. The people of the Demon Clan must have spent a lot of effort and thought to build this auction hall. Walking into the auction hall, Yi Qinfeng saw exquisite pavilions and pavilions, quiet and beautiful gardens, and straight roads that were completely paved with white jade. It was noble and gorgeous. The core of the auction venue was the auction hall. It was covered with crisscrossed arches and yellow tiles, making it look like a golden palace. The front of the golden palace was lined with stone pillars, each of which was carved with a coiling dragon, giving off a strong visual impact. Walking along a white jade corridor, Yi Chunfeng followed the old man to an inner hall with richly ornamented beams and painted rafters. He saw a peerless woman who was appreciating treasures. When he saw the woman's face, Yi Chunfeng's eyes couldn't help but light up. The tight-fitting black Chong Sam accentuated her beautiful figure. Her delicate face was painted with a light pink color, and her lips were pink. Her seductive eyes were full of temptation. Her legs were hidden in the Chong Sam, but they were exposed from time to time. They were slender and sexy, exuding boundless charm. She was a male teacher of a female student. Miss, this young master wants to sell a high-grade Dao skill for the auction the day after tomorrow. The old man bowed slightly to the woman in the black Chong Sam and said in a respectful tone, "High-grade Dao skill." The woman in the black Chong Sam's eyes lit up. She put down the thing she was appreciating and looked at Yi Chunfeng with a gentle gaze. She said in a pleasant voice, "Young master, can you let me appreciate the high-grade Dao skill you are going to auction?" "Of course." Yi Chunfeng looked at the woman in the black Chong Sam, who was even more charming than the seductive woman he had killed last night. He took out the jade slip of the 3 ultimate water arts that he had carved with great effort with the help of the God-Eater brain and handed it to her. After receiving the jade slip from Yi Chunfeng, the woman in the black Chong Sam immediately released her soul to penetrate it and quickly browsed through it. Immediately after, a thick sense of shock and astonishment appeared on her stunning face. "Are you sure you want to auction this high-grade Dao skill?" The woman in the black Chong Sam raised her head slightly and looked straight at Yi Chunfeng as if she wanted to see through him. She said softly, "If I am not mistaken, the high-grade Dao skill in this jade slip should be the treasure of the EC Palace, the first 2 moves of the 3 ultimate water arts." "Miss, you have good eyesight. This is the first 2 moves of the 3 ultimate water arts. I wonder if you dare to auction it?" Looking at the woman in the black Chong Sam's constantly changing expression, Yi Chunfeng nodded and asked in a hoarse voice, "Young master, you're not afraid?" "Naturally, we are not afraid." The woman in the black Chong Sam smiled sweetly and said, "As usual, after the auction, our immortal island will take 10% of the profits." "Okay, no problem." Yi Chunfeng didn't even think about it and agreed very happily. "Since young master has no objection, let's sign the auction contract. After signing the auction contract, we will pay young master a certain amount of deposit in advance." The woman in the black Chong Sam took out 2 black crystal-like crystals and said, "Okay." Yi Chunfeng nodded and released his soul to penetrate the 2 black crystals. He signed the auction contract with the woman in the black Chong Sam and left the cultivation jade slip of the 3 ultimate water arts to her. Although the 3 ultimate water arts is not complete and the last move is missing, it is after all the best martial arts of the EC Palace. We estimate that its auction price will not be lower than 10 billion mid-grade soul crystals. How about we pay you 5 billion mid-grade soul crystals first? The woman in the black Chong Sam thought for a moment and said, "Okay, deal." Yi Chunfeng nodded and had no objection. "Young master, you are really straightforward." The woman in the black Chong Sam showed a charming smile and elegantly took out a dark golden Qianquan ring and said, "There are 5 billion mid-grade soul crystals in this ring. You can check it. I trust the reputation of the immortal island." Yi Chunfeng did not check the Qianquan ring handed over by the woman in the black Chong Sam. After taking the contract crystal, he left without any hesitation. "Young miss, should we send someone to investigate him? He shouldn't have any good intentions by publicly auctioning the 3 ultimate water arts of the EC Palace." Record of Chaotic World 1. Special Ability. The old man's eyes revealed a stern look as he asked softly, "No need." The woman in the black Chong Sam shook her head and said, "If I'm not wrong, this person has changed his appearance. Moreover, this person is not simple. Even if we send someone to follow him, they may not be able to follow him. As for the EC Palace, you don't have to worry. Even if they want to blame us, they should look for the seller and not us, the woman in the black Chong Sam said wisely. Moreover, she had a selfish motive, which was to use her authority to comprehend the three ultimate water arts of the East Sea Palace in advance. Right at this moment, a man with a tall figure and dark green hair walked in, and after he bowed respectfully, he said, "Young miss, I just received news that a conflict has occurred between young Miss Jean May and members of the Eastern Sea Palace in the Treasure Heaven Pavilion. That fat pig is causing trouble for me at this time again." The woman in the black Chong Sam's seductive eyes revealed a stern look as she said angrily, "Pass down my order to the true island master. Tell him to discipline his daughter properly. If she causes trouble at this juncture, don't blame me for being impolite." "Yes, young miss." The green-haired woman obeyed. It was not difficult to see that the woman in the black Chong Sam was the true controller of the immortal island from her irresistible order. After leaving the auction venue, Yi Chunfeng casually found an inn to stay in. He took out the earthwood Dao fruit that he forcefully seized and swallowed it whole. With the help of the God-Eater Brain's deduction ability, he comprehended the Dao intent contained within the Dao fruit and waited for the auction to begin the day after tomorrow. After nearly 3 days of refining and comprehending, Yi Chunfeng completely absorbed the earthwood Dao fruit. With the help of the God-Eater Brain, he comprehended one wood Dao pattern and one earth Dao pattern contained within the earthwood Dao fruit. Phew, it's daybreak. I hope this auction won't disappoint me. Yi Chunfeng spat out a mouthful of turbid air and woke up from his cultivation. He looked at the faint light outside the window and muttered with some anticipation. Mobile reading site. Book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 713. 22443556. Early in the morning, the soft sunlight shone on Mengzue City. The golden light was very beautiful. Yi Chunfeng welcomed the soft sunlight and arrived at the luxuriously decorated auction hall. When he walked into the dazzling auction hall and found a remote corner to sit down, he immediately heard Lu Meng's voice. Seeing Yi Chunfeng from afar, Lu Meng immediately hugged the coquettish woman with heavy makeup who he had just hooked up with last night. She was tall and slender and exuded a strong fragrance. She quickly walked over and sat beside him. "Young Master Feng, where have you been these few days?" Lu Meng asked with a charming smile. "Cultivating," Yi Chunfeng said calmly. "Young Master Feng, are you still angry with me?" "Actually, I really didn't expect that to happen," Lu Meng said apologetically. "It's all in the past." Yi Chunfeng couldn't figure out Lu Meng's background, so he didn't want to talk to him anymore. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he closed his eyes and waited in silence for the auction to begin. His cold and arrogant attitude made the coquettish woman beside Lu Meng extremely dissatisfied. As time passed, the empty auction hall was filled with people. Although East Sea Palace and Immortal Island had a conflict, they still sat at the front with the people from Nine Nether Mountain because of their superior status. Dong! A melodious bell sound rang out, and the noisy auction hall immediately quieted down. Countless gazes were cast towards the jade platform that was slowly rising. When everyone saw the beautiful figure standing on the jade platform, they all revealed a stunned expression. "It's her. I didn't expect her to personally host this auction." Yi Chunfeng looked at the lady in an elegant black silk dress. Her skin was as smooth as milk, and she had light makeup on her face. She was devastatingly beautiful, and every frown and smile of hers was captivating. Yi Chunfeng immediately recognized her. She was the lady in the black qipao whom he had seen that day. Stunner, stunner. I've never seen such a beautiful lady. Lu Meng's eyes almost popped out of their sockets as he stared at the woman in the black dress on the jade platform. There were countless people like Lu Meng who were mesmerized by the peerless beauty of the woman in the black dress. It could be said that her appearance alone had added a lot of excitement to this auction. "Everyone, welcome to my immortal island to participate in this overseas auction. My name is Shui Hanyan, and I am the auctioneer of this auction. I hope that everyone will be able to obtain the treasures that you wish for in this auction. Shui Han Yen revealed a charming smile, looked around at the pairs of burning eyes, and announced in a natural and unrestrained manner, "Well, I won't waste everyone's precious time. I now announce that the Immortal Island auction officially begins." The Legend of the Desert. As Shui Hanyan's voice fell, streaks of white light lit up on her slender fingers. A blood-red fruit that looked like a child's head and was the size of a fist appeared in her hand. This fruit is called the Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit. It's a pseudo-Tao fruit that contains the power of bloodlines. It can be used to refine medicine or consumed directly. If you're lucky, refining this Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit may strengthen your bloodline power. Well, the starting price of this Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit is 1 million mid-grade soul crystals. If you're interested, you can bid. Shui Hanyin picked up the Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit and introduced it in detail. Her crisp voice made people's imagination run wild. A pseudo-Tao fruit. Yi Chenfeng's eyes lit up. He was interested in this Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit and was ready to bid. Not only was Yi Chenfeng interested in this Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit, but many people were also interested in this pseudo-Tao fruit and increased the price one after another. Soon, the price of the Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit soared and finally rose to 550 million mid-grade soul crystals. 680 million. At this time, an expert from the Nine Nether Mountain bid. He directly increased the price by 30 million mid-grade soul crystals, which attracted the attention of many people. 1 billion. Yi Chenfeng had plundered the West Demon Sect's treasury and killed Shou Liuyun, the Yu family, and other experts. Coupled with the 5 billion mid-grade soul crystals that Shui Hanyin paid in advance, Yi Chenfeng could be said to be rich and overbearing. He directly increased the price to 1 billion. This price instantly shocked everyone present. Even Lu Meng was shocked. The man from the Nine Nether Mountain was also shocked by Yi Chenfeng's price. After repeated attempts, he gave up on bidding. In the end, the first item of the auction, the Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit, was won by Yi Chenfeng. After paying 1 billion mid-grade soul crystals on the spot, Yi Chenfeng put the Heavenly Spirit Blood Fruit into his universe ring. He planned to give it to Ling Yu in the future to enhance her bloodline power. Thank you for your generosity, young master. The second treasure that my immortal island has prepared for everyone is a top-grade heaven artifact. As she spoke, Shui Hani took out a 3-meter-long, pitch-black spear from her universe ring. The spearhead shone with a cold luster. This spear is called the Gallbladder Spear. An expert of my immortal island found it in an ancient ruin. The spearhead is embedded with a grade 7 heavenly beast demonic core, which increases its attack power. It can be said that this Gallbladder Spear is definitely one of the best among the top-grade heaven artifacts. The starting price is 1 million mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone can start bidding now. Shui Hanyin raised the Gallbladder Spear high up and introduced it elegantly. A top-grade heaven artifact that is embedded with a grade 7 heavenly beast demonic core. Yi Chenfeng raised his eyebrows and revealed a trace of astonishment. It could be said that the Immortal Island's auction had greatly exceeded his expectations, especially this Gallbladder Spear. If it was placed in an ordinary grade 7 sacred ground, it could be considered a clan treasure. However, he had the Emperor's Sky Sword, the Sword of Great Ominous, and the Vermilion Bird Cauldron. He was not very interested in this Gallbladder Spear and did not participate in the bidding. He watched in silence as others fought for this Gallbladder Spear. The male teacher of the female student. After the time for half an incense stick to burn past, a black-robed middle-aged man with a square face and eyes that were like cold stars made a bid of 4,450 million mid-grade soul crystals, and he obtained the Bile Spear in the end. The first two items were sold for close to 6 billion mid-grade soul crystals. I wonder how much wealth the Immortal Island's auction will earn this time. Yi Chenfeng looked at the man in black robes who bid for the Gallbladder Spear from afar. He could not help but shake his head and sigh. After the Gallbladder Spear, Shui Hanyin took out a cultivation chant that was close to a mid-grade Tao technique. Once again, it caused the experts of the various major forces to compete for it. In the end, this cultivation chant that was close to a mid-grade Dao technique was bought by the experts of the East Sea Palace for 4 billion mid-grade soul crystals. The 3 auction items exceeded 10 billion, which greatly exceeded Yi Qinfeng's expectations. He did not dare to imagine what kind of sky-high price the final auction item will be sold for. He was also looking forward to the price of the cultivation chant of the 3 unique water seals. The 3 precious items pushed the atmosphere of the auction hall up, but the value of the following items was far less than the value of the first 3 items. However, because the price of the first 3 items was too high, the price of these items exceeded the price of the previous items. Soon, the morning passed. Yi Qinfeng did not bid again except for the first time. At that time, Lu Meng bid for 2 extraordinary treasures in succession. He was so happy that he could not close his mouth. He also let Yi Qinfeng see his powerful financial resources. Just as the atmosphere gradually became gloomy, Shui Hanyin smiled sweetly and took out a golden, seemingly heavy, triangular crystal from her Qinkuan ring. She said, "My immortal island has prepared 49 treasures for you. It's a celestial treasure that is comparable to a pseudo-Dao treasure." As soon as her words fell, everyone's eyes suddenly lit up. The atmosphere of the entire auction hall was stirred up again. Mobile reading website. Book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You can see it when you open the bookshelf next time. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 714. 22443557. Just what kind of channel did the Immortal Island use to obtain so many precious treasures to auction? Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but be shocked when he saw the heavenly treasure in Shui Hanyin's hand. Among the treasures auctioned by Immortal Island, there were many that were comparable to the most precious treasures of their clans. It was simply unimaginable in the outside world. I don't think I need to say more about the value of this heavenly treasure. The starting price is 10 million mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone may start bidding, Shui Hanyin announced in a gentle voice when she saw that everyone was excited by the heavenly treasure. 30 million mid-grade soul crystals, 80 million mid-grade soul crystals, 100 million, 300 million, 800 million, 1 billion. Under the crazy bidding, the price of the heavenly treasure continued to rise and finally settled at 1 billion mid-grade soul crystals. It was won by a reclusive family of the southern continent. Crazy, this is too crazy. Yi Qinfeng couldn't help but feel inspired when he saw the various major powers experts frantically bidding for the stone. However, a heavenly treasure like the stone was useless to him, so he didn't waste his money on it. My Immortal Island has prepared the 50th treasure for everyone. It is a golden rock's heart's blood sealed in a top-grade soul crystal. Shui Hanyin took out a sparkling and translucent top-grade soul crystal with a drop of dark golden blood sealed inside. The golden rock is the fastest divine beast in the Duhan continent. A mature golden rock can reach the 9th level of heavenly beast, comparable to a 6th level combat beast emperor. This drop of blood is refined from the heart of a mature golden rock. Its value is immeasurable. If a lucky person can refine it, it is very likely that the golden rock bloodline will be born in their body, greatly increasing their life-saving means. The starting price is 100 million mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone may start bidding. Golden rock's heart's blood. Looking at the top-grade soul crystal in Shui Hanyin's hand, Yi Qinfeng was pleasantly surprised. If he could obtain this drop of golden rock's heart's blood, he might have a chance to increase the level of his golden rock's bloodline, greatly increasing his flying speed. 300 million, 500 million, 800 million, 1.5 billion. The price of the golden rock's blood soared rapidly under the frenzied bidding of the various major forces. The East Sea Palace, in particular, had developed a strong interest in this drop of golden rock's blood and constantly raised the price. When the price of the golden rock's blood essence rose to 6 billion, only the East Sea Palace was left to compete with an expert from an overseas force. The others were disappointed by their determined momentum and had no choice but to give up bidding.
10 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Just as everyone was looking at the two of them, guessing who would have the last laugh, Yi Chenfeng suddenly made a bid. The moment he opened his mouth, the noisy auction hall immediately quieted down. 10 billion. Who is this person? How can he be so bold as to directly raise the price by 4 billion mid-grade soul crystals? Crazy character. This Immortal Island auction is indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. I wonder if the people from the East Sea Palace will continue to raise the price. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's bid, everyone in the auction hall was stunned. They all looked at Yi Chenfeng, who had a calm expression on his face. The price of 10 billion had also created a new record for the day. 10 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Is there anyone else who wants to raise the price? Shui Hanyin asked gently as she glanced at Yi Chenfeng charmingly. She revealed a soul-stirring smile and asked gently, "Damn it, where did that kid come from? He actually dares to compete with the East Sea Palace." An old man with snow-white hair and sunken eyes glared angrily at Yi Chenfeng and said through gritted teeth. He gave off a ferocious feeling. He was wearing a long blue robe and had snow-white hair. "It's him. We had a conflict with the Immortal Island. Because of him." Looking at the calm expression on Yi Chenfeng's face, the three experts from the East Sea Palace immediately recognized him and said while gnashing their teeth, "He dares to go against the East Sea Palace. When this auction is over, I will not spare him." The ferocious old man said viciously and finally gave up bidding. The expert from the overseas force was also shocked by Yi Chenfeng's astonishing bid and had no choice but to give up. Since there is no increase in the price, this drop of golden rock's heart's blood belongs to this young master. Shui Hanyin smiled and handed the drop of golden rock's heart's blood to a graceful maid. Then she came to Yi Chenfeng's side and completed the transaction. "Young Master Feng, you are so rich." Lu Meng's eyes widened, as if he didn't recognize Yi Chenfeng. The coquettish woman nestled in his arms kept casting flirtatious glances at Yi Chenfeng, trying to seduce him and attract his attention. Yi Chenfeng smiled at the surprised Lu Meng and didn't say much. After putting Golden Rock's heart's blood into the heaven and earth mirror, he waited in silence for the next treasure. After Golden Rock's heart's blood, Shui Hanyin took out a lot of valuable treasures to auction. However, these treasures were not very attractive to Yi Chenfeng, so he didn't continue to bid. Soon, it was close to evening, and the auction was coming to an end. "The 96th treasure that the Immortal Island has prepared for you is a Great Way elixir of excellent quality." Shui Hanyin took out a white jade porcelain bottle from her heaven and earth ring and poured out a milky white elixir covered with Tao patterns that caused the air to vibrate. As soon as this elixir appeared, it immediately stirred up everyone's emotions and caused a commotion. Countless pairs of eyes were cast at the white jade porcelain bottle in Shui Hanyin's hand. The value of a Great Way elixir definitely exceeded that of a quasi-Taoist treasure. After taking it, a lucky combat beast emperor expert would have a chance to receive the Tao meaning contained in the Great Way elixir to cleanse his body, sublimate his Tao meaning, and break through to the next realm. In the face of this Great Way elixir, which could only be encountered by chance, the experts of all the major forces had a strong interest and wanted to get their hands on it. Great Way elixir, this Immortal Island is actually willing to take out such a treasure for auction. Record of supernatural ability 1. Yi Chenfeng showed a hint of surprise. After all, a Great Way elixir was very likely to create an emperor-level expert. Ordinary forces would never be willing to take it out. The starting price of this Great Way elixir is 1 billion mid-grade soul crystals. If you're interested, you can bid now. Shui Hanyin looked at the burning look in everyone's eyes and didn't delay any longer. She said softly, 5 billion. As soon as Shui Hanyin's voice fell, the white-haired old man from the East Sea Palace in aqua-blue robes immediately bid. Obviously, they were determined to get this Great Way elixir. 6 billion. As soon as the old man from the East Sea Palace bid, the elder from the Nine Nether Mountain also bid. Hearing that the people from the Nine Nether Mountain wanted to compete with him,
The old man from the EC Palace frowned slightly and immediately cast his gaze over. Elder Hai Lu, the Nine Nether Mountain, is also very interested in this Great Way elixir. Sorry, the elder from a Nine Nether Mountain, who was wearing a blood-red robe and had a strong aura, said with a smile. 8 billion. Just as the two major forces were communicating through telepathy, Yi Chunfeng bid again, increasing the price by 2 billion, making the atmosphere even more tense and intense. 9 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion. Many people were interested in this Great Way elixir. After all, soul crystals could be earned again, but if the Great Way elixir was lost, it would really be gone. 19 billion. Just as the bids were being shouted one after another in the auction hall, the sixth elder from the East Sea Palace gritted his teeth and shouted a sky-high price. 19 billion. Yi Chenfeng frowned slightly and looked hesitant. Although this Great Way elixir was very precious, its value was far less than the Dragon's Heart and Demon Sage Cold Knight's Tao Spirit. Moreover, he still had 17 billion middle-grade soul crystals left, and the number of high-grade soul crystals was only equivalent to 20 billion middle-grade soul crystals. If he were to fight blindly, even if he obtained the Great Way elixir, he would definitely lose the opportunity to compete for other treasures. After weighing the pros and cons, Yi Chunfeng gave up the bid. Seeing that the EC Palace was determined to get it, the other forces like the Nine Nether Mountain also gave up. In the end, the EC Palace won this extremely precious Great Way elixir at the sky-high price of 19 billion. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 715. Congratulations to 6th Elder Hai for winning this great Dao pill. Shui Hanyan was very satisfied with the price offered by the EC Palace. She revealed an enchanting smile as she looked at the 6th Elder of the East Sea Palace. However, the EC Palace had spent 19 billion to win the Great Dao Pill. They had basically lost the opportunity to compete for the final treasure. All right, miss, let's not waste any more time. We want to know what the final treasure is. Some of the people who had lost the chance to compete were shouting loudly. Some of them couldn't wait to know the final 4 treasures of the auction. Ha! The final 4 treasures of my immortal island will definitely satisfy everyone. Shui Hanyan revealed a charming smile as she took out a heavy, and pitch-black heavy axe from her spatial ring. It seemed to be more than 10,000 jin in weight. This axe was refined from 10,000 years old cold iron fused with a top-grade starstone. There are 3,000 attack runes sealed inside. Its quality has surpassed that of a top-grade heaven tool, reaching the level of a pseudo-Dao tool. Coupled with its weight of more than 10,000 jin, it is absolutely a heavy, killing weapon. If you have a cultivation technique and want to walk the path of strength, you must not miss this Dao axe. Shui Hanyin held the heavy axe in one hand as she vividly introduced it, as if the Dao axe was weightless in her hand. Her display of strength also shocked many people. They were shocked by her astonishing strength. All right, the starting price of this Dao axe is 100 million mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone can start bidding. Shui Hanyan announced loudly as she sensed that everyone's interest had been aroused. A pseudo-Dao tool. Yi Chunfeng cultivated the cultivation technique and walked the path of strength. He was a little interested in this heavy pseudo-Dao tool. However, he knew that if he bought it with all his strength, he would have to give up the rest of the treasures. After weighing the pros and cons, he gave up. 5 billion, 8 billion, 10 billion. The entire auction hall was filled with shouting voices. In less than 10 breaths of time, the price had risen to 15 billion. At this point in the auction, the voices calling out bids were much quieter. Many people flinched at the sight of the price of 15 billion. In the end, a burly middle-aged man from Hong, whose entire body was filled with explosive muscles and had an obvious scar on his face, won the pseudo-Dao artifact heavy axe for 8 billion. Everyone, take a guess. What is this jade slip in my hand? After the transaction, Shui Hanyin took out a jade slip from her Chinquan ring. She blinked her beautiful eyes and asked in a playful manner, "Finally, it's my turn to use the 3 absolutes of water." Yi Chenfeng looked at the jade slip in Shui Hanyin's hand and smiled. He cast his gaze at the clueless experts of the East Sea Palace. He wanted to see their expressions after they learned the truth. Could it be a mid-grade Dao technique? Some people guessed. No, this jade slip is a set of upper-grade Taoist skill. Shui Hanyin shook her head and said, "High-grade Dao technique? That's impossible." As soon as Shui Hanyin's voice fell, the entire auction hall was in an uproar. Many people had doubts about this. After all, upper-grade Taoist skills were the most precious treasures of an 8th-grade Holy Land. If it was placed in this auction, it was very likely to be the final treasure. This jade slip is indeed a set of upper-grade Taoist skill cultivation chant. However, the last move is missing, so it affects its value, Shui Hanyin explained. Miss Shui, apart from the 3 divine nations, there are very few upper-grade Taoist skill inheritances in other places. Does this jade slip in your hand come from the 3 divine nations? Asked a white-haired old man with a strong aura. His eyes were shining brightly, and he wore a crown on his head. No, according to the seller, this jade slip is not from the 3 divine nations, but from the Eastern continent. Shui Hanyin shook her head gently and said, "Eastern continent." The East Sea Palace's 3rd elder frowned slightly and said with some doubt, "There are not many upper-grade Taoist skill inheritances in the Eastern continent. Miss, are you sure that this jade slip is a high-grade Taoist skill passed down in the Eastern continent?" "Yes, I can guarantee with the reputation of the Immortal Island that this jade slip is undoubtedly a high-grade Taoist skill passed down in the Eastern continent. However, we don't know its specific origin," Shui Hanyin nodded and said. "In that case, miss, please state the starting price and start the bidding." The East Sea Palace's 3rd elder nodded and said with a strong interest in the mysterious Taoist skill in this jade slip. The starting price of this upper-grade Taoist skill is 1 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone can start bidding. Shui Hanyin revealed a thought-provoking smile and announced, 10 billion. As soon as Shui Hanyin's voice fell, Yi Chenfeng shouted without hesitation. He deliberately raised the price of the 3 absolute water arts to create a tense atmosphere. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's bid, many people cast a surprised look at him. They were surprised by his wealth and guessed his identity and background. 12 billion. A rogue cultivator from the southern continent gritted his teeth and shouted. As a rogue cultivator, he lacked inheritances the most. If he could get this upper-grade Taoist skill, his strength would be greatly improved, and he would have a chance to kill his enemies. 15 billion. The people of the East Sea Palace discussed for a while and shouted. However, they had just won the Great Dao Pill and were obviously not as competitive as the 9 Nether Mountain and some wealthy super forces. Soon, the cultivation chant of the 3 absolute water arts was raised to a sky-high price of 2.6 million. Although this upper-grade Taoist skill only has the first 2 moves, the power of these 2 moves is comparable to an ordinary upper-grade Taoist skill. You won't regret winning this bid. As the price continued to rise, fewer and fewer people shouted. Looking at the 9 Nether Mountain and the Hung faction competing with each other, Shui Hanyin's charming appearance constantly aroused their emotions. 30 billion mid-grade soul crystals. The people of the 9 Nether Mountain discussed for a while and finally bid the highest price they could bear. 30 billion, that's a good price. Yi Chenfeng smiled faintly. If he won the bid at that price, he could still get more than 20 billion mid-grade soul crystals. He would definitely have the strength to compete for the final treasure. 30 billion. Is there anyone who wants to bid? Shui Hanyin was very satisfied with the price and asked in a charming voice. After waiting for more than 10 breaths, Shui Hanyin saw that no one wanted to bid and finally announced that the jade slip was won by the 9 Nether Mountain. After paying the sky-high price of 30 billion mid-grade soul crystals, the people of the 9 Nether Mountain successfully won the jade slip. When they impatiently penetrated the jade slip to check the upper-grade Taoist skill, they were stunned
and looked at the people of the East Sea Palace with strange gazes. "What's wrong, Elder Yuwu?" Looking at the strange gazes of the people of the Nine Nether Mountain, the sixth elder of the East Sea Palace frowned slightly and asked in surprise. "This, if I'm not wrong, the upper-grade Taoist skill engraved in this jade slip seems to be the #1 martial art in your palace, the 3 Absolutes Water Arts." Elder Yu said. "What?" His words caused a huge commotion. After hearing what Elder Yu said, the people of the East Sea Palace were stunned as if they were struck by lightning. The entire auction hall was in an uproar. Remember the website, Sandwich Chinese Network. Chapter 716. Elder Yu, are you sure this jade slip contains the cultivation chants of the 3 absolutes of the East Sea Palace? The sixth elder of the East Sea Palace asked angrily, his eyes burning with uncontrollable flames and blue veins popping out on his forehead. "Yes, most likely." Elder Yu nodded and released the restriction on the jade slip, allowing the soul of the sixth elder of the East Sea Palace to penetrate into the jade slip. "Tell me, how did your immortal island get the cultivation chants of the 3 absolutes of the East Sea Palace?" After confirming that the jade slip really contained the first 2 forms of the 3 absolutes, the experts of the East Sea Palace were all enraged. They stood up one after another like enraged lions, glaring at Shui Hanyan's beautiful face and loudly questioning her. Once the cultivation chants of the 3 absolutes of the water prohibition spread, it would have a great impact on the East Sea Palace. Shui Hanyan looked at the furious experts of the East Sea Palace and calmly explained. "A few days ago, a young man came to me and insisted on auctioning this jade slip. At that time, he only said that this jade slip was passed down in the East Continent and did not tell us its true origin." "Young man? What does that young man look like?" The sixth elder exhaled and angrily asked. "Elder Hai Lu, that person dares to auction the 3 absolutes of the water prohibition in public. Do you think he will show his true face?" Shui Hanyan asked back. "But after the auction, he will come to me for the mid-grade soul crystal. Whether you can find him or not will depend on the ability of the East Sea Palace." "How dare you?" Elder Hai Lu did not expect Shui Hanyan to not give him any face and was completely enraged. A towering evil chi erupted from his body and swept towards Shui Hanyan like a volcanic eruption. "Elder Hai Lu, my immortal island is not a place for you to act wildly. If you continue to be presumptuous, don't blame me for driving you out." Facing the evil chi released by the sixth elder of the East Sea Palace, Shui Hanyan gently stretched out a finger and pointed at the void. Suddenly, dense water ripples appeared in the air in front of her. The terrifying finger directly pierced through the evil chi and pointed at Elder Hai Lu. "Pooh!" Elder Hai Lu felt a sharp pain in his chest as his defense was broken by Shui Hanyan's finger. A large amount of blood spurted out from his chest and dyed his robe red in an instant. So strong. Witnessing Shui Hanyan injuring Elder Hai Lu, who was a level 3 beast emperor, with a single finger, everyone present was awed by her heaven-defying strength. They never thought that such a beautiful and enchanting woman would be so terrifying. A level 5 beast emperor. She is actually a level 5 beast emperor expert. How did she cultivate? The moment Shui Hanyan made a move, the God-Eater brain sensed her true strength. This made Yi Chunfeng suck in a breath of cold air. He felt that this immortal island was even more mysterious. Sixth Elder. Seeing the sixth elder injured by Shui Hanyan's finger, the experts of the East Sea Palace were all shocked. They hurriedly supported him, their faces filled with horror. "All right, let the auction continue. If anyone is tired of waiting, you can leave now," Shui Hanyan said domineeringly as she looked at the experts of the East Sea Palace who dared not voice their anger. "Sit down." Although Elder Hai Lu, who was heavily injured and had lost all face, wanted to leave, the loss of the 3 absolutes of water was too important. He still wanted to fight for the other 2 most precious treasures, so after some hesitation, he shamelessly stayed. "My immortal island's 99th auction item is a pseudo-Dao artifact." Seeing the experts of the East Sea Palace becoming obedient,
Shui Han revealed a charming smile. She took out a blue bead from her interspatial ring and slowly introduced it. This frost bead was obtained from an ancient cold land. It contains the power of extreme and extreme cold. Even an emperor-level expert can't withstand its attack. If I can get this frost bead, together with the vermilion bird cauldron and scarlet thunder bead, I might have a chance to kill a 4th-grade beast emperor. Looking at the frost bead in Shui Hanyan's hand, Yi Chunfeng showed great interest. He was ready to try to get it. The starting price of this frost bead is 1 billion. Everyone can start bidding now, Shui Hanyan softly announced. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to call out a price, a deep voice suddenly rang out. 30 billion. Wow! As soon as the deep voice sounded, the entire auction hall was in an uproar. Almost everyone's gaze was directed to a young man sitting in the back row. He was wearing a white robe with cloud patterns and a crown on his head. His eyes were as deep as the sea, and he was gently fanning himself with a jade fan. He had a frivolous smile on his face. Beside him sat an old man in a gray robe with cloudy eyes that couldn't be seen clearly. 30 billion. Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. He did not expect this young man of unknown origins to be able to raise the price so high on his first bid. This gave him a lot of pressure. 30 billion. I wonder if anyone wants to continue bidding? Shui Hanyan also showed a hint of surprise. She glanced at the white-robed man and asked in a pleasant voice. 30 billion. After hesitating for a while, Yi Chunfeng called out his final bid. Lu Mang, who was beside him, was shocked. 40 billion. Without waiting for Shui Hanyan to speak, the white-robed man put away the jade fan in his hand and looked at Yi Chunfeng. What is this person's identity? How can his wealth be so terrifying? Yi Chunfeng had plundered the West Demon Sect's treasury and killed the Myriad Beast Mountain's sect master, Shou Lian. He had only obtained a little more than 30 billion mid-grade soul crystals. However, this white-robed man had increased the price to 40 billion in 2 bids. This made Yi Chunfeng surprised. 40 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Is there anyone who wants to increase the price? Shui Hanyan looked at Yi Chunfeng and asked. It won't be worth it if you increase the price again. Although the frost bead was extremely precious, Yi Chunfeng still gave up. Not only did Yi Chunfeng give up, but the people of the EC Palace and 9 Nether Mountain also didn't bid because they didn't have enough soul crystals. In the end, this extremely high-quality pseudo-Dao treasure frost bead was won by a mysterious man with an extraordinary origin for a sky-high price of 40 billion. Well, it's finally our turn to show the finale. I wonder if everyone is interested in guessing what the last treasure my immortal island has prepared for everyone? Shui Hanyan revealed a mesmerizing smile as she deliberately mystified. Could it be a Dao treasure? Someone guessed. A high-grade Dao skill. Seeing Shui Hanyan gently shake her head, someone guessed. Well, I won't keep you in suspense. The last treasure of this auction is a secret technique, sword steps. Shui Hanyan smiled sweetly, took out a blood-red jade slip from her bosom, and introduced it in a soft voice. Miss Shui, how powerful is this sword step? Someone asked. The power of this secret sword step is not inferior to an ordinary high-grade Dao skill. Everyone can rest assured. Shui Hanyan softly assured. A secret sword step comparable to a high-grade Dao skill. Yi Chunfeng stared at the blood-red jade slip in Shui Hanyan's hand. As he stared at it, the incredible God-Eater brain found a trace of abnormality in this jade slip. Well, is there anything else in this jade slip? Yi Chunfeng raised his eyebrows slightly and revealed a trace of surprise. Although the God-Eater brain couldn't sense what was hidden in the jade slip for a while, Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that whether it was the sword step or the hidden things in the jade slip, they were extremely useful to him. I must get this blood-red jade slip. Yi Chunfeng secretly made up his mind and was ready to bid for this last treasure at all costs. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 717. Well, don't introduce it.
Just tell us the starting price of this secret technique. The white-robed man who had just won the cold pearl seemed to have forgotten that Shui Hanyan had injured Elder Hai Lu with one finger and urged impatiently. Since this young master is so anxious, then I won't say much. The starting price of this secret technique is 10 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Everyone can start bidding. Hearing the white-robed man's rude urging, Shui Hanyan didn't get angry and announced in a soft voice, 40 billion. Without waiting for others to bid, the white-robed man once again bid. His bid shocked everyone present. Even the people from the EC Palace and the Nine Nether Mountain were shocked by his bid. Their faces became extremely ugly. Young master, this last treasure is extraordinary. In order to prevent you from randomly bidding, we must first confirm whether you still have 40 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Shui Hanyan said in a soft voice. Of course. The white-robed man nonchalantly took out the 5 Chinquan rings and said, These are 5 Chinquan rings, and each of them contains the equivalent of 10 billion mid-grade soul crystals. You can examine them as you wish. Young master is really generous. Shui Hanyan released her soul power into the 5 universe rings to confirm the number of soul crystals inside, and said with a charming smile, 50 billion. Yi Chenfeng didn't expect that the white-robed man would spend 40 billion mid-grade soul crystals and still have 50 billion mid-grade soul crystals. He felt a little pressure and took a deep breath and bid. Well, the white-robed man's smile froze on his face when he heard Yi Chenfeng's bid. He frowned slightly and looked at Yi Chenfeng. He didn't expect that Yi Chenfeng would dare to bid knowing the number of soul crystals he had. Young master, we also need to check the number of soul crystals you have in order to confirm your bid. Shui Hanyan said in a pleasant voice. Right now, I only have 3,700,000 mid-grade soul crystals on me. Yi Chenfeng said indifferently. As soon as Yi Chenfeng's voice fell, it immediately caused a huge uproar. Pairs of mocking eyes were cast at him in unison, unable to figure out what tricks he was playing. The white-robed man revealed a mocking smile, waiting for him to embarrass himself. This young master, my Immortal Island auction house, does not accept credit. If young master cannot give me a satisfactory explanation, then forgive me for following the rules and punishing you for randomly bidding. Shui Hanyan's voice suddenly became cold, and her beautiful eyes emitted a cold light. Although I don't have 50 billion mid-grade soul crystals on me, your auction house still owes me 22 billion mid-grade soul crystals. In order to obtain the mysterious blood-red jade slip, Yi Chenfeng decided to reveal his identity. So it's you, young master. Hearing Yi Chenfeng's words, the clever Shui Hanyan immediately guessed his identity. The coldness on her face was immediately replaced by a seductive smile. She said softly, the 3 absolutes of water were sold for 30 billion. After deducting our 10% commission and the 5 billion mid-grade soul crystals we paid in advance, our auction house really does owe you 22 billion mid-grade soul crystals. It's you. As soon as Shui Hanyan's voice fell, the faces of Elder Hai Lu and the others changed dramatically. They all stood up and stared at Yi Chenfeng like fierce, hungry wolves. Boy, let me ask you, where did you get the 3 absolutes of water from my EC Palace? I bought it from a roadside stall. Yi Chenfeng ignored the cold eyes of Elder Hai Lu and the others and casually said, Bullshit. Elder Hai Lu glared at Yi Chenfeng and roared, Boy, I advise you to tell me the truth. Otherwise, if you fall into our hands, I will make you beg for death. Well, since you insist on knowing the truth, then I will tell you. Yi Chenfeng pretended to ponder and said, Actually, your palace Lord Hemingway map cried and begged me to accept the 3 absolutes of water. At that time, I didn't want to accept it, but he knelt down and refused to get up. I had no choice but to accept the 3 ultimate water seals cultivation chant with the thought of doing good deeds. Yi Chenfeng said seriously, You're courting death. Elder Hai Lu didn't expect Yi Chenfeng to be so bold as to humiliate their palace Lord Hemingway map in public. The anger in his heart completely erupted, and he was about to teach Yi Chenfeng a lesson. What? The warning I gave you just now wasn't enough. You want to disrupt the order of this auction? Yi Chenfeng didn't pay attention to the furious elder Hai Lu and the others. His eyes drifted to Shui Han Yin and deliberately criticized her loudly. Yes, this young master is right. The auction is not over yet, and you have repeatedly broken the rules. Now, I ask you to leave. Shui Han Yin glared at Yi Chenfeng with some anger. No matter what kind of deep hatred Yi Chenfeng had with the East Sea Palace, the rules and order of the auction were not to be broken. She could only stand up for Yi Chenfeng and loudly reprimanded him. Okay, let's go. If you have the guts, you can hide here forever. As long as you dare to come out, I will definitely twist off your dog head. Thinking of Shui Hanyin's terrifying strength, Elder Hai Lu didn't have the face to stay any longer. He left behind a ruthless sentence and angrily left with the East Sea Palace. Now, can we continue the auction? Yi Chenfeng revealed a faint smile as he looked at the beautiful Shui Han Yin and softly asked. Of course. Shui Han Yin's eyes shot out rays of light, as if she wanted to see through Yi Chenfeng, who had repeatedly surprised her. 50 billion mid-grade soul crystals. Is there anyone else who wants to increase the price? Shui Han Yin had regained her charming and noble appearance. She looked around at the pairs of burning eyes and asked in a pleasant voice. 55 billion mid-grade soul crystals. The white-robed man didn't hesitate and continued to bid. 59 billion. Yi Chenfeng made up his mind and called out the highest price he could bear. If this price still couldn't deter the white-robed man, he would have to give up with only 5 top-grade soul crystals and 5 heaven crystals left. Well, compared to me, in terms of wealth, you are too far behind. 65 billion. The white-robed man sneered and continued to raise the price as if the soul crystals were worthless in his eyes. Could this person be from the Central Divine Nation? Although the East Sea Palace was known as the #1 holy land of the 4 continents, it would be difficult for them to take out 100 billion soul crystals at once. Therefore, Yi Chenfeng couldn't help but wonder if the white-robed man came from the central continent of the Fighting Spirit continent. Only people from the Central Divine Nation could be so extravagant and have such a huge amount of wealth. Young master, are you going to continue to raise the price? Shui Han Yin cast her eyes on Yi Chenfeng. The price of the secret sword steps was far beyond her expectation. I give up. Yi Chenfeng took a deep breath and softly spat out 3 words. However, although he said that, he didn't give up in his heart. No matter what, he had to get the blood-red jade slip that attracted him greatly. Even if the white-robed man really came from the illusory divine nation, he would fight with all his strength and kill him when he left. Well, since this young master has given up, I announce that the last item of this auction, the secret sword steps, is won by this young master. Shui Han Yin revealed a smile that was as beautiful as 100 flowers blooming. She was astonishingly beautiful as she announced softly. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Collect button below to record this reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.